Monday, he assisted in 64 apprehensions, 43 building searches, 174 drug searches. The dog's responsible for seizing illegal drugs and nearly $30,000 in cash. And that's it for America in the Morning for Thursday, May 12th, 2016. Our producer, Tom Delac, senior producer, Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout, and this is Westwood One News.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFIBER ONE Newsradio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCourt, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFIBER ONE Newsradio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
The Chad Benson Show, live weekdays from 3 to 6 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio, AM 1030 and FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. The art of the deal, Donald Trump and Paul Ryan meeting this hour on Capitol Hill along with other key Republican leaders today. Can they agree to get along? Trump likely fielding questions on how he plans to unite the party. ABC's Lana Zach has details on this crucial sit-down.
At this hour, Donald Trump, the presumptive nominee, is sitting down with House Speaker Paul Ryan at the Republican National Committee headquarters. Ryan says he doesn't know Trump, having only met him once before, and he wants to begin to unify his party. Trump sounding a positive tone, too, calling Ryan a great guy. Both are looking to come out of this meeting with reassurances. Ryan hoping Trump will temper some of his more divisive positions, and Trump looking for the support and bankroll of the Republican establishment. Lana Zach, ABC News, the Capitol.
The IOC says it will not cancel the Olympics in Rio due to fears over the Zika virus. The Harvard Health Review published an editorial pushing for that cancellation to prevent what they call a full-blown public health disaster. ABC News Chief Medical Editor Dr. Richard Besser explains.
Rio is in the heart of the outbreak. It's not in the periphery. The second is this strain of Zika is worse than previous strains. It causes those severe birth defects in babies. The increase in tourism is going to spread the virus. 500 million people coming in and then going back to their countries can spread this.
Nissan announcing it is buying a $2.17 billion stake in Mitsubishi Motors. That deal will make Nissan the largest single shareholder in the struggling company. Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn.
Nissan will invest 237 billion yen to acquire a 34% stake in Mitsubishi Motors.
A scary moment for a hiker in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Officials say a man says a bear bit him on the leg while he was sleeping along the Appalachian Trail. It happened Tuesday night while he was in his tent. This is ABC News.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork? Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes. That is fast, like rocket fast. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access.org number 3030.
ABC Radio presents Made in America with David Muir. Brought to you by Advance Auto Parts Speedworks Rewards. No cards, no points, no nonsense. Details at AdvanceAutoParts.com.
It's a true American classic, the Stetson hat. 150 years old this year, 400 workers on the line at the plant in Garland, Texas, and they're proud to be there. Vice President Dan Brown.
We have it made right here in the USA. We're proud of that fact, and we actually sticker the boxes made in USA and the hats themselves.
This is World News Tonight's David Muir. That's Made in America.
He survived segregation, World War II, and a pair of wives. Now, as we hear from ABC's Jim Ryan, veteran Richard Overton has passed another milestone.
Happy birthday to you. It's been sung to Richard Overton 110 times. That makes him what's officially known as a super centenarian. There are only a handful in the world. His doctor might not like Mr. Overton's secret to longevity: cigars.
I can just smoke cigar, be happy.
And a little coffee fortified with whiskey. And on his 110th birthday, Richard Overton says,
Feel good.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel 50.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
A solar-powered airplane that landed in Arizona last week now headed to Oklahoma. It is the latest leg of this round-the-world flight and mission to bring solar power into the forefront. The Swiss-made Solar Impulse 2 began its trek last year in Abu Dhabi. It will make one more stop before crossing the Atlantic. Wall Street investors may follow European markets today, hoping that the oil prices boost stocks. This is ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. A search consultant hired by the city of Shelton to find City Administrator Dave O'Leary's successor has narrowed the list of finalists for the job from around 20 to 6. A reception at the Shelton Civic Center is planned for the finalists on June 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. The finalists will face interview panels, and you'll be able to ask questions. The finalist names will be released once the candidates clear it with the city. Meanwhile, an interim city administrator is being negotiated and should be hired within a week of O'Leary's retirement, May 31st. Mason County Commissioner Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. This week, Commissioner Netherland is rolling out his growing list of endorsements from individuals and elected officials throughout the county and the greater Puget Sound region. You can see that list with this story on our website. Visit the politics page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Earlier this month, Kelly McIntosh of Belfair announced her campaign for Mason County Commissioner District 1. It's National Hospital Week, and Mason General Hospital is partnering with the Shelton School District to create a health science academy for students. Superintendent Dr. Alex Apostle told Daybreak about plans moving forward.
We're going to be sending between 8 and 10 people to Tennessee to take a look at models of academies. Tennessee is kind of leading the way in terms of academies at the high school level. But we're sending a K-12 contingency, teachers from across the grade levels to really take a look at academies and what we can implement here in Shelton K-12 and beyond. And when I say beyond, that would mean working with Olympic College and universities in the area.
The CEO of Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics, Eric Mull, told Daybreak how this will impact students.
You know, it's almost like we have to hold back because there's a lot of groundwork in terms of training within some of the leadership within the school district and key teachers. They're, going to lead, some of the early curriculum development. But as that matures, that will create opportunities for us to really engage with the school district around job shadowings and really integrating the students into, the work environment so they can start to see how some of what they're learning in the school then translates and applies to work and start to see different career pathways that they might not otherwise have been exposed to.
The Academy will create a pathway for students interested in working in the health field to get training and possible employment right here in Mason County. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak.
Get the clues during the Monday Morning Sports Report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner.
First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 28th game against the Minnesota Twins.
Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFIBER1newsradio.com.
It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things: dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
Roger that.
Get charged up with Mountain Dew Kickstart, now in 4 energizing new flavors like Midnight Grape. It all starts with a kick.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here is Sean Wells.
Shelton Fast Pitch opens up Narrows League tournament play this afternoon at RAC Fields in Lacey. High climbers will face the winner of Foss versus North Thurston at 3 p.m. Day 1 of the Narrows League track and field meet gets underway this afternoon at Shelton High School. Day 2 finishes up on Saturday. Chris Iannetta hit a walk-off home run in extra innings as the Seattle Mariners knocked off the Tampa Bay Rays 6-5.
The 3-2 pitch, swinging a fly ball deep to center field. Going! Gone! Goodbye, baseball! A walk-off home run for Chris Iannetta here in the bottom of the 11th inning. His third home run of the season, and the Mariners come away with a 6-5 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they sweep aside Tampa Bay. Iannetta greeted by his teammates at home plate. Holy smokes, what a way to wrap it up this afternoon.
The win puts the M's at 21-13 on the season, a game and a half up over Texas for first place in the AL West. Seattle is off today, then are back in action tomorrow night hosting the Anaheim Angels. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 6. I'm Carol Gardner, and you're listening to Daybreak. We've got a great day today. The weather's going to be about the mid-70s. We might see some clouds. Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day. Looks clear in the low 80s, and right now it's 46.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, 610 Nat, iFIBER ONE News Radio, and a good morning to you. Got a great show for you, as Carol was mentioning. We continue Hospital Week here on iFIBER ONE News Radio, and at 7:45, Marcia Rolick, the Director of Women's and Children's Services, and Chris Gaw, registered nurse who's a team leader for the Birth Center, will come in to talk about women's and children's services at Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Then at 8:15, we will kick it over to Summit Pacific Medical Center. They're providing a virtual care clinic, and Lauren, the Director of Development and Communications, and Nicole, the marketing specialist for Summit Pacific, will be on the air with us. Additionally, and between 8 and 8:30, we'll talk about Bluegrass from the Forest. It is this weekend. We continue to give away tickets. If you are interested in going, you can call us at the listener line here, 462-1041. And our focus on Shelton today, sponsored by our community credit union. Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody coming in to talk about Peace Officers Memorial Day and Police Week, which is an observance that pays tribute to local, state, and federal peace officers who have died in the line of duty. It's on May 15th, and Police Week is the calendar in which that day falls.
And we will launch the new iFIBER ONE News Radio website. It's iFiberOneNewsRadio.com, and you can watch us live. We're on from 6 to 9. We pop up on your homepage on the right side. If you have your ad blocker on, you may not see us, so turn that off. And also, all these interviews that Jeff just talked about, we will be posting those on our website later in the day, and you can listen to them. Just go to iFiberOneNewsRadio.com. Looks like we got a caller.
Yeah, let's say good morning to who's on the line with us.
Gregory.
Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Good.
You want to go to Bluegrass from the Forest?
Yes, I would.
All right, so I could do a Friday evening, a two pair there for Friday evening, or we could do a Saturday matinee, or a Saturday evening, or even a Sunday show. What sounds good to you?
I'd have to take a Sunday show, please.
Okay, Sunday, 10 to 2 at Shelton High School. Greg, I've got your name here, and get your number down in just a second. I have it here, so don't say it on the air for sure.
Okay.
And you know where our studios are located?
Yes, I do.
Right downtown Shelton. All right, Greg, well, come on by. I'll get you a pair of tickets to the Sunday Bluegrass from the Forest.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye. 613 iFIBER One News Radio, and coming up this half hour, right after this break, Jeff Chu was able to catch up and talk with the guy who rescued the drowning swimmer. Just one of the stories that we'll pass along here on iFIBER One News Radio. Daybreak this morning. It's Wednesday, May 12th, and a good morning to you.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
It's that time of year again for Seattle Mariners baseball, and iFIBER One News Radio is the only station to carry the Mariners in the South Sound. Be part of the team and advertise your business on iFIBER One News Radio's coverage of the Mariners broadcast every day this season. Summertime in the Northwest means people traveling to enjoy outdoor activities and listening to the Mariners while camping, fishing, and boating. And the only place to listen to the Mariners around Puget Sound is on iFIBER One News Radio. Your business should be part of the Mariners broadcast each day to hit one of the biggest listening audiences in radio. Choose from packages that get you on every game or every inning of over 150 games this season. Call the sales team at iFIBER One News Radio today at 360-426-1030 or email us at sales@ifiberone.com and sign up to be part of the great season of Mariners baseball.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning, it's 6:15. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey, and you are listening to Daybreak. It's going to be a great day today. We have lots of great interviews coming up, and the temps we'll probably get into about the mid-70s this afternoon. You can follow iFIBER One News Radio on Twitter at iFIBER One Radio, and like iFIBER One News Radio on Facebook and get our news right on your newsfeed. You can also get really great videos that our news director, Jeff Chu, and he filed this report on the hero that rescued the drowning man up at Lake Cushman.
Randy Bruff risked his life on Tuesday when he pulled a drowning man from the chilly depths of Lake Cushman. Bruff jokes when you ask him about being called a hero.
I think I'm still the halfway degenerate I was the day before, in all honesty. I said I'm the same person. So it's funny how you get a title. I'm no different than I was. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be more deserving. I couldn't imagine not doing what I did.
Bruff, in his 60s and the maintenance manager for Lake Cushman Maintenance Company since 2009, rescued the Bellevue man from the lake bottom. Witnesses told Mason County Sheriff's deputies the man was submerged for more than 10 minutes near where he was participating in water sports off Division Park. The man was resuscitated but later died Wednesday after being airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. The drowning victim's name was withheld by the King County Medical Examiner's Office on Wednesday, pending results of an autopsy. Bruff talked about the Tuesday afternoon rescue and how he struggled to save the man.
I walked in the office and I heard a call come over the radio saying, could you please call 911 possible drowning in Division 1? So I jumped in my truck and raced back up there. And I got there and I met one of my workers and I asked him about it. And he said, yeah, there was a person missing. So then I went out on the beach and I took my other maintenance worker and he said the same thing. He was consoling a girl on a picnic table. So I walked over to the corner of the swim area and there was a girl pushing a small boat out to another girl that was sitting on the log raft. And she was somewhat hysterical. And they got her in, they were coming back in and I asked them if they were missing a person, and they said yes, they were. And I said, if you could get the boat to me, I'll go look if you can describe where it was. They got back, they got the boat to me, and they pointed out to where they thought the person was last seen. I got in the boat, went out there, and rode around real clear water, and I missed him on my first pass. I didn't see him. He was about 2/3 of the way out from the end of the dock towards the log boom is what was described.
How deep was he down?
I would estimate 12 feet. And so I dove in the water. Got down, picked him up, and when I came up, my boat had drifted off, and so I started going towards the dock, and everything was going pretty good, and then I looked at the dock and realized how far away it was. I had him in a recovery position, and then I thought, I'm going to have to dump my pants. I had started taking my pants off, but when I got over by the girls, I kept them on. I had double dungarees on, so I had to let him go and take my pants off, and I struggled to get them off. Once I finally got him off, I went back down, picked him up, and got back to the surface again, and then I was pretty fatigued, and I started swimming towards the dock again, and by that time, the fire department, two of Mike Mott, the chief, and another gentleman, I don't know who, were at the dock. They were trying to untangle rope so that they could throw to me, and also my maintenance worker was there. They finally got the rope untangled, and they threw it to me, and it landed short. They didn't have any good weight on it, so I had to let him go again and go retrieve the rope. And then I got the rope and got just about back to him, and the rope was tight line. They didn't have enough rope, hardly. And my maintenance worker, James, held on to the end of the rope and stretched himself out over the water and gave me just enough room that I could get back down to the bottom, grab the body again, and pull him back to the surface, and then they towed me into the dock.
Mason County Sheriff's Office spokesman Ryan Sperling says Bruff acted heroically and deserves to be recognized for it. Bruff, who helped administer chest compressions on the man, credited Mason County Fire District 18 medics for resuscitating him to breathe again. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER One News.
Wow. Whoa. Check out that story on iFIBER1newsradio.com. The full video there from News Director Jeff Chu. Have you ever been in a situation like that where you've had to rescue somebody, or, oh my goodness.
Not quite like that, no.
And the rope is not long enough.
And he's speaking calmly, and maybe he is a very calm type of a person, but I imagine all this stuff is just happening very quickly.
So fast.
And
it's like, wow.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, pretty intense stuff.
619 at iFIBER One News Radio. Lawmakers, you remember in school when you do a test and then you pass the test to the person behind you, and they're the ones who they're gonna grade it.
Oh,
do you remember that? And you write CB.
No, I don't think
corrected by Jeff or corrected by Carol.
Maybe, but not often. We didn't do that often.
So you do this and you pass it back, and the person in front passes it to you, and you're like, wink, wink. We all did pretty good on this test. Well, that's what's going on here in the state legislature as lawmakers.
Grade schoolers are at the state legislature, you're saying?
Yes, I am saying that. State lawmakers, this is from the Olympian by way of the News Tribune this morning. State lawmakers filled out their own report cards Wednesday to deliver the state Supreme Court, and not surprisingly, they gave themselves passing grades.
Well, yeah. There you go.
So this is all because they're working to improve the schools. There's that McCleary decision that we've been talking about for years now. And this past legislative session, they kind of made some Band-Aids. It says, well, we really can't do anything because it's a supplemental budget year. And, there was a lot of excuses, whatever. And so they pushed it off a little bit to the next session, next year.
Right.
And so if you remember, the state Supreme Court, not fined, but they sanctioned, they put sanctions on them, $100,000 a day. And so everybody who heard this is like, okay, who's paying for this? What's the rate it at now? And well, apparently,
and where's all that money?
And where's all that money? And why do the taxpayers have to pay for this? This should come out of the pockets of the lawmakers who are sitting around doing
indirectly
nothing.
The taxpayers pay for.
Well, I mean, I guess we do pay their salaries, but it should come out of their dime because they're the ones who are sitting on their hands.
Right.
If I'd do some work if I was there. Anyways, so we're at about, I just saw the number. It was almost $30 million since they started those sanctions. So $100,000 every day. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they think, though, they are well on their way to getting this wrapped up for next year. But wait, the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, will look over their progress report and see what they had to say about that.
Yeah, see if they agree with it. Oh, my gosh. It's sort of a crazy... it's just so ridiculously ongoing is what it is. And... you'd think it should just be an easy thing to
We talk
deal
about
with.
how the pace of government is slow for a reason. But does it have to be? For thought, I mean, you do it for thoughtful consideration for major
right, but this has been going on
download.
since 2012.
Well, yeah.
That's, 4 years. We're almost going on the fifth year.
It's, I would call it glacial.
Yes, that's a good word for
space.
Now, your political insights from ABC News. As Republican nominee Donald Trump huddles with congressional leaders in Washington, rumors swirl about his vice presidential pick. Governor Rick Scott, who's rumored to be on Trump's short list, didn't say he'd turn it down, but responded,
I like the job I have. I have a great job.
Trump also not ruling out New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's leading his transition planning. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton needs just 142 more delegates. But at a rally in Montana, rival Bernie Sanders points out he won more votes in the last two races.
They kind of tell you that the campaign is over, that Secretary Clinton has won. Well, apparently the people of Indiana and West Virginia didn't get the message.
Vice President Joe Biden says he's confident she'll get there.
I feel confident that Hillary will be the nominee, and I feel confident she'll be the next president.
Those are your political insights. I'm Megan Hughes, ABC News.
It's the 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest Festival, May 13 through 15. Headliners include Michael Cleveland and Flamekeeper from Indiana. From Nashville, Rob Ice and Trey Hensley.
I got the California blues, and I'm sure gonna leave you here.
2 stages of non-stop music. Local favorite Runaway Train from Seattle, North Country, and the Blackberry Bushes. And the Green Mountain Bluegrass Band from Salem, Oregon. Plus a band scramble, workshops, and open mic, and jamming all over the Shelton High School campus. RV and tent sites available. The premier kickoff to the National Bluegrass Festival season. Bluegrass from the Forest. Brought to you by J. Bird Company, LLC, Little Creek Casino Resort, Shelton Veterinary Hospital, and Olson Furniture. Don't miss Bluegrass from the Forest, May 13 through 15. Ticket information online at bluegrassfromtheforest.com. A presentation of Christmastown, Kiwanis.
You know, this is a good time to subscribe to the Journal. Most importantly, you get a great local newspaper. We were voted the best mid-sized weekly newspaper in the state, which helps you stay connected to your community. And then there is the fact that subscription rates remain low while individual paper prices are increasing for 2016. You can save as much as $40 this year with your subscription. Quality, convenience, and low price. The Journal gives you all that every week. Call 426-4412 or go to masoncounty.com.
Need a ride? Call 426-8294. Mason County Taxi, 426-8294. Anytime, anywhere. Call when you need a quick, affordable ride. 426-TAXI, 426-8294.
My name is Meera. Many families have come to America for a better life. I advocate for these families with United Way to make the community stronger. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
6:26 on a Thursday morning. Great guests coming down the pike here, 7:45. We'll talk National Hospital Week continues. Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics to talk about women's and children's services there at 8:15, between 8 and 8:30. Got a couple great interviews for you. Bluegrass from the Forest is coming up this weekend. We just gave away a pair of tickets, and we've got more to pass along. If you're interested, you can call us here at the listener line, 462-1041. A couple different options to pass along with these tickets. Also from Summit Pacific Medical Center, we'll have some representatives from them come on in and talk about a virtual care clinic where you can, you can do like a FaceTime or a Skype video call with, I'm guessing we'll learn about it, but a consulting nurse, to say, my arm's broken, something. They've talked to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the future, they have those, the sort of like the Google Glasses in the back of a medical, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's a box. Ambulance. And the doctor will try to talk the person through what's going on. So it's all happening. It's amazing how much is happening around us, and then we hear about it. We're like, oh, and people are already doing these things.
This just popped into my head.
Virtually.
When you go to the doctor, have you been recently?
Like my own personal doctor or like a hospital doctor?
Either one, whatever.
In the last 6 months, yes.
How much actual physical interaction is there?
Physical interaction.
Meaning, testing your reflexes.
This is an interesting conversation because I just was talking to, some friends and some family about when you go to a doctor, usually, you don't get much time and usually it's just talk. Actually, the kind of doctors I go to, it sounds sort of crazy, but I go to a naturopath and they'll check out your gut area, your stomach area, they'll check your tongue, they'll check your blood pressure, all that type of stuff. And it's
so this is what I'm saying. You go to a place and they're actually touching you. But for the last couple of times that I went to a doctor, there was no touching.
Exactly.
So the fact that I could have sat in my boxers at my house, Skyping, could have been just as good.
Right. Well, it depends what you go for, and also I agree. Some doctors are too rushed, and they don't actually check you out, your whole, the whole body.
15 minutes. No small talk.
Right. Right. So I don't know, the virtual thing, and even the virtual thing might be, no, it's way too futuristic.
We do virtual for everything else.
That's true.
We call the cable company. If there's a problem, it's over the phone or perhaps with a tech person.
That's right. And sometimes you're going to get somebody to help you with your computer by
logging on remotely.
So they're going to log on to you remotely.
I don't know. Rephrase that and we'll go try it again next time.
Right.
I don't want anybody logging on to me remotely. It's 6:30 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and we have got the latest in local news from Mary Lynn Foster coming up in just a couple of moments here. Also want to remind you that Napa Auto Parts has access to 400,000 parts and even more know-how. To find your local store, visit napaonline.com. 6:30 and time for Mary Lynn Foster's News.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A search consultant hired by the city of Shelton to find City Administrator Dave O'Leary's successor has narrowed the list of finalists for the job from around 20 to 6. A reception at the Shelton Civic Center is planned for the finalists on June 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. The finalists will face interview panels, and you'll be able to ask questions. The finalist names will be released once the candidates clear it with the city. Meanwhile, an interim city administrator is being negotiated and should be hired within a week of O'Leary's retirement, May 31st. Mason County Commissioner Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. This week, Commissioner Netherland is rolling out his growing list of endorsements from individuals and elected officials throughout the county and the greater Puget Sound region. You can see that list with this story on our website. Visit the politics page at iFiber1newsradio.com. Earlier this month, Kelly McIntosh of Belfair announced her campaign for Mason County Commissioner District 1. It's National Hospital Week, and Mason General Hospital is partnering with the Shelton School District to create a health science academy for students. Superintendent Dr. Alex Apostle told Daybreak about plans moving forward.
We're going to be sending between 8 and 10 people to Tennessee to take a look at models of academies. Tennessee is kind of leading the way in terms of academies at the high school level. But we're sending a K-12 contingency, teachers from across the grade levels to really take a look at academies and what we can implement here in Shelton K-12 and beyond. And when I say beyond, that would mean working with Olympic College and universities in the area.
The CEO of Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics, Eric Mull, told Daybreak how this will impact students.
It's almost like we have to hold back because there's a lot of groundwork in terms of training within some of the leadership within the school district and key teachers. They're, going to lead, some of the early curriculum development. But as that matures, that will create opportunities for us to really engage with the school district around job shadowings and really integrating the students into, the work environment so they can start to see how some of what they're learning in the school then translates and applies to work and start to see different career pathways that they might not otherwise have been exposed to.
The Academy will create a pathway for students interested in working in the health field to get training and possible employment right here in Mason County. For iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Snow melts. Rain falls. Rivers form. This happens all over the world. But when it happens here, something wonderful unfolds. A renewable source of energy, created without releasing even an ounce of CO2 into the Earth's atmosphere.
Mason PUD 3. Clean, renewable, and reliable energy every day.
Rare baseball record tied to the nation's capital, and the Warriors and Blues advance. Hi, everybody. Todd Ent reporting on sports. What a night for Nationals pitcher Max Scherzer.
Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a slider. He has tied the Major League record for strikeouts in a game with 20 strikeouts.
On WJFK, Max Scherzer joins Roger Clemens, Kerry Wood, and Randy Johnson as the only pitchers to strike out 20 in a 9-inning game. Nationals beat the Tigers 3-2. The Splash Brothers are back and close out the series by the Bay.
Clay fires for three. It's good. Clay Thompson. Curry, left hand, crossover right hand, back to the left, behind the back, fades a three. Got it! Oh, my goodness!
On KNBR, Clay Thompson 33, Steph Curry 29. And the Warriors get the 125-121 victory over Portland. The Warriors are now on to the conference finals. And the Raptors beat Miami 99-91 in Toronto. They take a 3-2 series lead. Miami will host Game 6 on Friday. NHL playoffs, it wasn't even close in Big D.
With Brouwer in front, pass to Brouwer to Stastny. Score! Yuri Lettier to Patrick Berglund. He shoots, he scores! 3-0 Blues.
On KMOX, and St. Louis is into the Western Conference Finals after a 6-1 trouncing of the Stars in Dallas in Game 7. The Sharks and Predators play Game 7 tonight. Busy night.
Narrows League tournament play this afternoon at RAC Fields in Lacey. High climbers will face the winner of Phosphorus North Thurston at 3 p.m. Day 1 of the Narrows League track and field meet gets underway this afternoon at Shelton High School. Day 2 finishes up on Saturday. Chris Iannetta hit a walk-off home run in extra innings as the Seattle Mariners knocked off the Tampa Bay Rays 6-5.
The 3-2 pitch, swing and a fly ball deep to center field. Going! Goodbye, baseball! A walk-off home run for Chris Iannetta here in the bottom of the 11th inning. His third home run of the season, and the Mariners come away with a 6-5 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they sweep aside Tampa Bay. Iannetta greeted by his teammates at home plate. Holy smokes, what a way to wrap it up this afternoon.
The win puts the M's at 21-13 on the season, a game and a half up over Texas for first place in the AL West. Seattle is off today, then are back in action tomorrow night hosting the Anaheim Angels. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning to you. Daybreak, iFIBER ONE News Radio, about 48 run now. Says yesterday's high at Sanderson Field, 87. Holy cazzoles. Carol, you think that's about right? 87 at Sanderson Field?
It was really nice outside.
Wasn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know.
Where were you?
in a sinus fog or something. Man, I tell you what, 75 today, 83 tomorrow, 67 on Saturday. So nice weekend, and the amount of rain has really dipped down. I know that we were thinking there was going to be at least a quarter inch or so on Saturday, but that's dropped down to 1/10 of an inch. So it's going to be nice for Bluegrass from the Forest. It's going to be nice if you're heading up to the Safe for Kyle Seager bobblehead game night that's coming up this Saturday. We've been giving away tickets to that here on Daybreak during Mariners Monday. 48 right now.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning. It's 6:38. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Swakey, and you are listening to Daybreak, and we have some great guests today. It is National Hospital Week, and we have Marsha Rolick, Director of Women's and Children's Services, and Chris Gaw, RN, Team Leader for the Birth Center, and they're going to be coming in and talking about the Women's and Children's Services at Mason General Hospital and Family Clinics. We also have, with continuing with Hospital Week, the Director of Development and Communications, Foundation Executive Director, and Nicole, Marketing Specialist from Summit Pacific Medical Center, and they are providing a virtual care clinic. Then we're going to move on to some Bluegrass from the Forest. That's all happening this weekend, and we're going to have a couple of representatives coming in and talking about what's happening with the event this weekend. Then we have our Focus on Shelton, sponsored by our Community Credit Union, and we'll have Chief Police Darren Moody speaking on Peace Officers Memorial Day and Police Week, which is an observance that pays tribute to the local, state, and federal peace officers. So that takes place on May 15th, the memorial. So he'll come in and he's going to talk on that.
We've got a new website for you at iFIBER1newsradio.com. You can now, after registering, log in, post stories, share stories, post information like lost and found pets or upcoming community events. You can even watch the Daybreak show. It's on iFIBER1newsradio.com. Get in on the conversation at 462-1041 or email us daybreak at iFIBER1.com.
And coming up this half an hour, we're going to have our news director, Jeff Chu, reporting on the man who rescued the drowning swimmer. Will tell that story, and also some stories from around the region. Lawmakers agree on a report card for themselves. The Seattle Council women speak out against a arena vote backlash.
Oh, yeah, I remember that story.
That was pretty interesting. And indicted Washington auditor lashes out at governor. That and more we have coming up on iFIBER1newsradio.com.
Yeah, that, and then we're going to go to ABC News. George Zimmerman back in the news. George Zimmerman, he was the security guard in that neighborhood that shot that young man, Trayvon Martin, back in 2012. He is in the news once again.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
Make a heavy-duty, long-lasting chicken feeder from materials you may already have. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Recycle and save money with some PVC pipe and a bit of wood as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
He's done 3 tours and now he's saving his dad's farm. Do you know a farmer veteran like that? We're inviting you to share their story. Successful Farming Magazine and Grasshopper Mowers are teaming up to acknowledge and thank farmer veterans for their service. This new initiative is called From Fighter to Farmer. Enter any veteran farmers you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer. Explain the veteran's military experience and farming operation, along with the involvement they have in your community. 3 veterans will receive a combination prize package of $5,000 and a vacation to Nashville. One lucky winner will also receive a $10,000 gift certificate to spend at Grasshopper Mowers. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 40 contiguous United States and D.C. 13 years and older. Begins February 1st, 2016 and ends April 30th, 2016. Subject to official rules at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer rules. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Sponsor Meredith Corporation. From Fighter to Farmer is brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. Enter any veteran farmer you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer.
Chicken feeders come in a variety of shapes and sizes. One problem with tube feeders is that they can become clogged if you're feeding mash and the chickens can't get to the feed. Wayne Martin is an Extension Alternative Livestock System Specialist at the University of Minnesota. He makes chicken feeders out of PVC pipe, and the birds are able to gobble up every single morsel. The materials include PVC pipe, small pieces of wood, and some eye screws to hang them. He cuts the length of pipe in half and a jigsaw to cut out 1/4 of the circumference on the smaller diameter pipes, 1/3 on the larger diameter pipes. Martin uses printing on the pipe as a guide.
On one side of the printing, because it's literally a straight line, I mark a chalk line. Then I'm able to make that cut. I just measure over 3 inches and then make another chalk line. I just follow that chalk line to cut it out. Then using the jigsaw again, I just simply cut a couple pieces of wood to use as plugs and put in the eye screws that we'll use to hang them from the ceiling.
Martin says you can tailor the size of PVC pipe to fit the size of the chickens as they grow. He recommends pipes that are 2 inches in diameter, 3 inches in diameter, and 4 inches.
The 2-inch in diameter one can be used for the little chicks as they're getting started. Then as the birds begin to really clean up their feed on a regular basis, we go to these bigger feeders that are 3 inches, and that's probably at about 2 to 3 weeks of age. Eventually we switch over to the 4-inch in diameter feeders. And this 4-inch in diameter feeder really holds a lot of feed.
Get instructions and watch a video on how Martin makes his chicken feeders at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
646 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. We got the new website, iFIBER1newsradio.com, and it is, what's it called? Dynamic, responsive design.
Yeah.
So you can take your mobile phone or tablet or iPad or whatever they have these days, Surface Pro, anywho.
Whatever piece of technology you are using.
You can go to the web browser on that device and type in iFIBER1newsradio.com, and our website magically shrinks to the screen that you have while
Yes, it does.
not losing any of the content or quality. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll see the link to watch the Daybreak show right there on your mobile device. And despite how others see him, Randy Bruff says he's no different than he was before. After he risked his life to try to save a drowning man in Lake Cushman, news director Jeff Chu files this report.
Okay, good. Randy Bruff risked his life on Tuesday when he pulled a drowning man from the chilly depths of Lake Cushman. Bruff jokes when you ask him about being called a hero.
I think I'm still the halfway degenerate I was the day before, in all honesty. I said I'm the same person. So it's funny how you get a title. I'm no different than I was. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be more deserving. I couldn't imagine not doing what I did.
Bruff, in his 60s and the maintenance manager for Lake Cushman Maintenance Company since 2009, rescued the Bellevue man from the lake bottom. Witnesses told Mason County Sheriff's deputies the man was submerged for more than 10 minutes near where he was participating in water sports off Division Park. The man was resuscitated but later died Wednesday after being airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. The drowning victim's name was withheld by the King County Medical Examiner's office on Wednesday pending results of an autopsy. Bruff talked about the Tuesday afternoon rescue and how he struggled to save the man.
I walked in the office and I heard a call come over the radio saying, could you please call 911 possible drowning in Division 1. So I jumped in my truck and raced back up there. And I got there and I met one of my workers and I asked him about it. And he said, yeah, there was a person missing. So then I went out on the beach and I talked to my other maintenance worker and he said the same thing. He was consoling a girl on the picnic table. So I walked over to the corner of the swim area and there was a girl pushing a small boat out to another girl that was sitting on the log raft. And she was somewhat hysterical. And they got her in, they were coming back in, and I asked them if they were missing a person, and they said yes, they were. And I said, if you could get the boat to me, I'll go look if you can describe where he was. They got back, they got the boat to me, and they pointed out to where they thought the person was last seen. I got in the boat, went out there, and rode around real clear water, and I missed him on my first pass. I didn't see him. He was about 2/3 of the way out from the end of the dock towards the log boom is what was described.
How deep was he down?
I would estimate 12 feet. And so I dove in the water, got down, picked him up, and when I came up, my boat had drifted off. And so I started going towards the dock, and everything was going pretty good. And then I looked at the dock and realized how far away it was. I had him in a recovery position. And then I thought, I'm going to have to dump my pants. I had started taking my pants off, but when I got over by the girls, I kept them on. So I had double dungarees on, so I had to let him go and take my pants off. And I struggled to get them off. Once I finally got him off, I went back down, picked him up, and got back to the surface again. And then I was pretty fatigued. And I started swimming towards the dock again. And by that time, the fire department, two of the, Mike Mott, the chief, and another gentleman, I don't know who, were at the dock. They were trying to untangle rope so that they could throw to me. And also my maintenance worker was there. They finally got the rope untangled and they threw it to me and it landed short. It wasn't, they didn't have any good weight on it. So I had to let him go again and go retrieve the rope. And then I got the rope and got just about back to him and the rope was tight line. They didn't have enough rope, hardly. And my maintenance worker, James, held on to the end of the rope and stretched himself out over the water and gave me just enough room that I could get back down to the bottom, grab the body again, and pull him back to the surface, and then they towed me into the dock.
Mason County Sheriff's Office spokesman Ryan Sperling says Bruff acted heroically and deserves to be recognized for it. Bruff, who helped administer chest compressions on the man, credited Mason County Fire District 18 medics for resuscitating him to breathe again. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER One News.
Thanks, Jeff. And again, you can watch that full video on iFIBER1newsradio.com. 6:51 right now. Last week, the Seattle City Council voted on
was it a couple weeks ago?
Last week, 2 weeks ago. So they were going to give a road to Chris Hansen, who is the guy who wants to bring an NBA team.
A street up in Seattle. Yeah, so he could start building his plan for the arena.
Right.
So they had the vote. And there's 9 council members, and then all 5 women on the 9-member council voted against it.
Right.
And the 4 men voted for it. And then after that, everybody went
crazy town.
Well, okay, not everybody. A certain demographic.
What is that?
Totally went on an attack against these women, saying that they were incompetent.
Oh, my gosh.
Because they were women. So the 5 women on the Seattle City's Council responded to this sexist attacks against them. After a recent council vote sidetracked this arenal proposal, they wrote in an op-ed that they were deeply troubled at the level of vitriol in social media posts and emails that often threatened sexual or other physical violence and contained hateful language and racist rhetoric. All 5 women on the 9-member council voted against this, and 4 men voted. And in the editorial, the women said they were also accused of incompetence because of their gender.
When we first talked about this story, I told you that a couple female sports reporters recently sat down in front of some other guys, some sportsmen.
Right.
And the guys read to the women these just awful tweets.
Right.
Directed at them.
Yeah.
I want to R you. You should be R'd. I wish you were dead. I mean, just terrible.
Yeah.
And the Seattle City Council, I mean, so there is, tensions are high.
Yeah, but
I'm not excusing this.
That sounds to me, just like a lame excuse. Tensions are high. That's even 2 or 3 years ago. This is happening to women in the tech world,
right?
And it's been it constantly happens to women all the time.
But I say that tensions are high too because we're in the middle of a presidential election, and there's a lot of rhetoric going on. And one of the Seattle City Council people, who happens to be a woman, is also a socialist and all this stuff. And so there's just a lot of vitriol on what's going on. And I am definitely not excusing it. It is this internet is wild, wild west. There is no...
Well, it just shows people's true colors. It shows the true colors of the issues and the problems that are there that people will love to ignore.
We've got 6 months of this, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, but it's not going to stop just...
I know it's not going to stop.
And I don't think it even... I mean, obviously it has a lot to do with stuff happening in our country, in the world, but it's more than that. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than just the presidential election. It's just stuff that's been happening forever. And it just shows that it's still out there, and people want to ignore it, and they get mad. They want to not talk about it, but it's there. It happens. Constantly happening.
There is a lot of hatred up there. I can't believe some of the stuff that was written about these council people. Now, your mom, was it your mom or your sister that noticed that it was a 5-4 split gender vote?
Yeah. She just heard the audio. She noticed that she had noticed that. Yeah.
That last line you read, incompetence because of their gender.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas.
I'll say.
6:56, iFIBER ONE News Radio. Coming up, we have a CNBC Business Radio report for you, and then that will lead us into ABC News. Just posted on our Facebook page, facebook.com/1030KMAS. A story from ABC. George Zimmerman is back up in the news, and we are seeing that him and Zimmerman and Trayvon have jumped up to the top of the Twitter sphere this morning. There's a lot of people talking about this as he has put his gun up for auction. He says it's the actual gun that he used to shoot Trayvon Martin.
Zimmerman tells WOFL-TV that he's received several death threats while in hiding and has even more after putting the 9mm pistol up for auction on the website Gunbroker.
Going into hiding, not publicizing the sale, not putting this up for auction isn't going to insulate me from these radicals.
The starting bid is listed at $5,000. He says he'll use the money from the sale to fight what he calls Black Lives Matter violence against law enforcement officers and Hillary Clinton's anti-gun campaign. Samantha Jordan, ABC News.
So you can imagine, as we were just talking about vitriol and rhetoric.
My thing is, why are we even giving this guy any coverage at all? To me, it's the same thing.
Somebody said that they want to put this gun in the Smithsonian.
That's what he said. But how did he even get the gun back? Usually in a police, whatever, they take all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so he got it back that easily? So
he shot the kid in 2012.
Yeah.
The Justice Department has gone through and they've finished up their stuff. They're cleaning out the books. They're saying, well, this case is done.
I guess.
Give him back his stuff. I mean, he was not guilty.
Yeah, I know, but usually
your ground laws in
it seems
Florida.
like it's harder to get your stuff back, but not obviously in this case since
Isn't that amazing?
he got off. Yeah.
So people are bidding on this thing. $5,000 is when it starts. Won't be the last we heard about this today.
Probably
I am sure. If you remember, he tried to do a bid up on eBay about an American flag. It was his painting, and that sold for over $100,000. It had comments that he made, little statements that he made.
Well, what's worse, the guy selling it or the guy buying it?
Yeah, who's the collector?
Yeah, exactly.
What are they doing with that? What kind of collection is that?
I know, exactly.
CNBC Business Radio reports 7 o'clock on the way.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Our CNBC Business Radio. The markets are on the rebound after yesterday's brutal session. Energy stocks getting a boost from higher oil prices. The Dow's up 57 points, the Nasdaq higher by 4. More signs the labor market is beginning to cool off. New claims for jobless benefits rose by 20,000 to 294,000. That's the highest level in more than a year. Prices for imported goods rose in April for a second straight month. That was mainly because of a jump in the cost of petroleum products. And Google wants women to have equal rights in emoji form. The internet giant says it wants to create characters in female form, highlighting the diversity of women's careers and to empower girls. Some of the sample emojis include female characters in professional clothing, including business suits, lab coats, medical scrubs, and construction hats. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-597-4816. That's 1-800-597-4816. 1-800-597-4816. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Alex Jones and InfoWars on from 6 to 9 weekdays on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033 KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. It's a crucial sit-down. House Speaker Paul Ryan and Donald Trump meeting this past hour at RNC headquarters in Washington, D.C. ABC's Lana Zach is there.
Our communities are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Handful of protesters outside the RNC headquarters in Washington, D.C. The two are meeting to see if they can carve out a path to unite the Republican Party. Donald Trump, the GOP likely nominee, expected to meet with other Republican leaders as well. The white nationalist selected as a delegate in California will remain a delegate for Trump. The campaign blamed a computer error for William Johnson's selection. That after he told the media his name was on the list. Trump's campaign tried to remove him. California's Secretary of State says it came after a deadline passed to make those changes. What to do about the fast approaching Olympics with regard to the Zika virus? Not everyone's singing from the same sheet. ABC's Tom Rivers has more from the foreign desk.
Writing in the Harvard Health Review, Canadian health professor Amir Attarban states the games should be postponed or moved given the risk. But the International Olympic Committee disagrees, saying there's no need to cancel or delay the Rio events. IOC's medical director does, however, say it's important to continue to monitor the situation closely. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization is adamant that the August Games will not be derailed by the virus. Some 500,000 visitors are expected to fly in for the competitions. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
If you're struggling in your job search, you're not alone. Government figures out this morning show more Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week, climbing by 20,000. This is ABC News.
Hey, I'm the future you. Listen, we regret not going out more. All we did was play video games against that guy from Indonesia. But we can fix this. TGI Fridays, dine and drink. Get a petite sirloin, cheddar mac and cheese, and a glass of wine. Or a juicy truffle stack burger, fries, and a margarita, all for just $12. By the way, that guy we beat from Indonesia, yeah, he was 11.
Pick a meal and a drink for just $12. Dine and drink, only at Fridays. Valid on select items only, restrictions may apply. Offer valid at participating locations for a limited time while supplies last. Please drink responsibly.
When you're a kid, monsters live under your bed. When you're a grown-up, monsters come in the mail. You know, bills.
But by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans, you could save hundreds of dollars each month. Money you can use to shrink those monstrous bills down to a size that's not nearly as scary. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit us at QuickenLoans.com. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Buy in. Quicken Loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Investigators are still digging through every possible way Prince obtained prescription drugs before his death last month. ABC's Eva Pilgrim is in Chanhassen, Minnesota, and tells us more about the local doctor who was at Prince's estate shortly before his death and who recently left his job.
Authorities are questioning Dr. Michael Schulenberg, a physician who was seeing Prince in the days and weeks prior to his death. A search warrant was executed on the medical records for Prince through his healthcare network. We also know that the doctor no longer works for that hospital, although we don't know at this time when he parted ways.
George Zimmerman making headlines again. The former Florida Neighborhood Watch volunteer is selling the gun he used to fatally shoot unarmed teenager Trayvon Martin in 2002. Zimmerman says he has the right to sell the gun. The opening bid for the pistol, $5,000. Cornell Brooks, president and CEO of the NAACP, criticized Zimmerman for selling the gun. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Mason County is hiring, so stop those long commutes and work where you live. Look for employment opportunities at the Mason County website.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A search consultant hired by the city of Shelton to find city administrator Dave O'Leary's successor has narrowed the list of finalists for the job from around 20 to 6. A reception at the Shelton Civic Center is planned for the finalists on June 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. The finalists will face interview panels, and you'll be able to ask questions. The finalist names will be released once the candidates clear it with the city. Meanwhile, an interim city administrator is being negotiated and should be hired within a week of O'Leary's retirement, May 31st. Mason County Commissioner Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. This week, Commissioner Netherland is rolling out his growing list of endorsements from individuals and elected officials throughout the county and the greater Puget Sound region. You can see that list with this story on our website. Visit the politics page at iFiber1newsradio.com. Earlier this month, Kelly McIntosh of Belfair announced her campaign for Mason County Commissioner District 1. It's National Hospital Week. Mason General Hospital is partnering with the Shelton School District to create a health science academy for students. Superintendent Dr. Alex Apostle told Daybreak about plans moving forward.
We're going to be sending between 8 and 10 people to Tennessee to take a look at models of academies. Tennessee is kind of leading the way in terms of academies at the high school level. But we're sending a K-12 contingency, teachers from across the grade levels to really take a look at academies and what we can implement here in Shelton K-12 and beyond. And when I say beyond, that would mean working with Olympic College and universities in the area.
The CEO of Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics, Eric Mull, told Daybreak how this will impact students.
You know, it's almost like we have to hold back because there's a lot of groundwork in terms of training within some of the leadership within the school district and key teachers. They're, going to lead, some of the early curriculum development. But as that matures, that will create opportunities for us to really engage with the school district around job shadowings and really integrating the students into, the work environment so they can start to see how some of what they're learning in the school then translates and applies to work and start to see different career pathways that they might not otherwise have been exposed to.
The Academy will create a pathway for students interested in working in the health field to get training and possible employment right here in Mason County. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak.
Get the clues during the Monday Morning Sports Report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner.
First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 28th game against the Minnesota Twins.
Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFIBER1newsradio.com.
It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak.
Is your family doing some growing? Whether it's an expansion of your home or the addition of a new family car, Peninsula Credit Union can provide fast, friendly service with terrific rates. We offer personal lines of credit, affordable auto loans, and a variety of home loan options to get you moving. Visit our offices in Shelton, Belfair, Paulsbo, Port Orchard, and Port Townsend, or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Shelton Fast Pitch opens up Narrows League Tournament play this afternoon at RAC Fields in Lacey. High climbers will face the winner of Foss versus North Thurston at 3 p.m. Day one of the Narrows League track and field meet gets underway this afternoon at Shelton High School. Day two finishes up on Saturday. Chris Iannetta hit a walk-off home run in extra innings as the Seattle Mariners knocked off the Tampa Bay Rays 6-5.
The 3-2 pitch, swinging a fly ball deep to center field. Going! Gone! Goodbye, baseball! A walk-off home run for Chris Iannetta here in the bottom of the 11th inning. His third home run of the season, and the Mariners come away with a 6-5 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they sweep aside Tampa Bay. Iannetta greeted by his teammates at home plate. Holy smokes, what a way to wrap it up this afternoon.
The win puts the M's at 21-13 on the season, a game and a half up over Texas for first place in the AL West. Seattle is off today, then are back in action tomorrow night hosting the Anaheim Angels. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 7. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey, and you are listening to Daybreak. It's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to have some temperatures up in the mid-70s today. Tomorrow we're going to be up in the mid-80s. Looks like some maybe chance of rain for the weekend. I'm going for just a chance of rain for the weekend. Right now it's 49.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people, you. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
7:10 on a Thursday morning, iFIBER ONE News Radio. It's Daybreak with Jeff and Carol. And coming up in about a half an hour or so, we continue our great conversations for National Hospital Week. Marcia Rolick, the Director of Women's and Children's Services, as well as Chris Gaw, who's a registered nurse and team leader for the Birth Center, will be in to talk about the Women's and Children's Services at Mason General Hospital and the family of clinics. Then from Summit Pacific Medical Center, Lauren and Nicole will be on the air with us to talk about a new virtual care clinic that Summit Pacific is pushing out as well. In that half hour, we talk bluegrass from the forest and still have some passes to give out to you. If you're interested, you can call us here, 462-1041. And Peace Officers Memorial Day is coming up on May 15th. And during the Focus on Shelton, sponsored by our community credit union, Chief Darren Moody's coming on the air, and he'll be talking about that. Right now, we got on the phone line, I think someone that wants to go to bluegrass. Say hello. Who are we talking to?
Hey, it's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
I am well today. How about you?
I am well as well. Thank you. You want to go to bluegrass from the forest?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so here's what I can do for you. How about a Friday evening, 2 pairs to the Friday evening shows from 6:30 to 10 at Shelton High School, or I could just give you a whole weekend pass for calling in this morning. How does that sound?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right, Kevin. Well, I got 2 weekend passes for you. This is a $70 value, and thank you so much for calling into Daybreak this morning. We're going to get your phone number here. We don't say it on the air. We've got the caller ID, so we can write it down, Kevin. And then come by the station at your leisure and pick up those tickets.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, too.
Bluegrass from the Forest is such a fun time. It's going to be a nice weekend, and all around the Shelton High School campus is what they call it. There's going to be lots of picking and strumming and good times had by all. 7:12 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and when we come back, we learn about the man who jumped into Lake Cushman yesterday to rescue the man who was drowning, and more information on that from our news director, Jeff Chu. It's all coming up in 2 minutes.
If you care about what's going on around here, subscribe to the Shelton Mason County Journal. You will learn something useful about your neighborhood, upcoming events, your community, and coworkers. Laugh at the comics, cry with the obituaries, learn about local concerts, games, and new businesses. Being informed is worth it in so many ways. Subscribe today. Call 360-426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com. Check out the Journal's garage sales, too. Try it. You'll love it.
I'm with Scott Alsterberg, sales manager at the all-new Gillis Auto Center. Scotty, what am I looking at?
Dale, we're looking at gear grabbing, pedal stabbing, heart pounding fun.
Oh, baby, tell me more.
We've got a 2016 526 horsepower GT350, the hottest Mustang on wheels, and the car sitting next to it. This is a 707 horsepower, 200 mile per hour Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Oh, those cars are muscle cars.
Oh, they're muscle cars and beyond. These things are absolute rocket ships. You know who's going to appreciate these are guys like me and you that in the 70s, we couldn't buy these cars, but we looked at them, and now we've paid our dues and we can finally have one.
That's a great idea.
You come down and drive one, I'll sit in the car and do the paperwork with you because you won't want to get out.
All right, it's the all-new Gillis Auto Center off the Shelton City Center exit.
Just go to Gillis.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning at 7:15. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey, and you are listening to Daybreak. News Director Jeff Chu out and about, and he files this report for us.
Randy Bruff risked his life on Tuesday when he pulled a drowning man from the chilly depths of Lake Cushman. Bruff jokes when you ask him about being called a hero.
I think I'm still the halfway degenerate I was the day before, in all honesty. I said I'm the same person. So it's funny how you get a title. I'm no different than I was. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be more deserving. I couldn't imagine not doing what I did.
Bruff, in his 60s and the maintenance manager for Lake Cushman Maintenance Company since 2009, rescued the Bellevue man from the lake bottom. Witnesses told Mason County Sheriff's deputies the man was submerged for more than 10 minutes near where he was participating in water sports off Division Park. The man was resuscitated but later died Wednesday after being airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. The drowning victim's name was withheld by the King County Medical Examiner's office on Wednesday, pending results of an autopsy. Bruff talked about the Tuesday afternoon rescue and how he struggled to save the man.
I walked in the office and I heard a call come over the radio saying, could you please call 911 possible drowning in Division 1? So I jumped in my truck and raced back up there. And I got there and I met one of my workers and I asked him about it. And he said, yeah, there was a person missing. So then I went out on the beach and I talked to my other maintenance worker and he said the same thing. He was consoling a girl on a picnic table. So I walked over to the corner of the swim area and there was a girl pushing a small boat out to another girl that was sitting on the log raft. And she was somewhat hysterical. And they got her in, they were coming back in and I asked them if they were missing a person, and they said yes, they were. And I said, if you could get the boat to me, I'll go look if you can describe where it was. They got back, they got the boat to me, and they pointed out to where they thought the person was last seen. I got in the boat, went out there, and rode around real clear water, and I missed him on my first pass. I didn't see him there. He was about 2/3 of the way out from the end of the dock towards the log room is what was described.
How deep was he down?
I would estimate 12 feet. And so I dove in the water, got down, picked him up, and when I came up, my boat had drifted off. And so I started going towards the dock, and everything was going pretty good. And then I looked at the dock and realized how far away it was. I had him in a recovery position. And then I thought, I'm going to have to dump my pants. I had started taking my pants off, but when I got over by the girls, I kept them on. I still had double dungarees on, so I had to let him go and take my pants off. And I struggled to get him off. Once I finally got him off, I went back down, picked him up, and got back to the surface again. And then I was pretty fatigued, and I started swimming towards the dock again. And by that time, the fire department, two of the, Mike Mott, the chief, and another gentleman, I don't know who, were at the dock. They were trying to untangle rope so that they could throw to me. And also my maintenance worker was there. They finally got the rope untangled and they threw it to me, and it landed short. They didn't have any good weight on it. So I had to let him go again and go retrieve the rope. And then I got the rope and got just about back to him, and the rope was tight line. They didn't have enough rope, hardly. And my maintenance worker, James, held on to the end of the rope and stretched himself out over the water and gave me just enough room that I could get back down to the bottom, grab the body again, and pull him back to the surface, and then they towed me into the dock.
Mason County Sheriff's Office spokesman Ryan Sperling says Bruff acted heroically and deserves to be recognized for it. Bruff, who helped administer chest compressions on the man, credited Mason County Fire District 18 medics for resuscitating him to breathe again. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER One News.
Thanks, Jeff. And you can watch that video and all of our new features from iFIBER1newsradio.com, our new website that features many videos about all sorts of events and news items from around the Northwest.
And we have some more information on the auditor, which just won't go away.
Sands of an hourglass. These are the days of our lives.
I know. So Washington State Auditor Troy Kelly responded to the Governor Jay Inslee's concerns over Kelly's firing of 3 staffers after his federal fraud trial ended, essentially telling the governor to back off.
So wait a second. He came back to work after this trial.
Yeah, because he won't resign.
Because he won't resign.
Right.
And he started firing people that were not with him. Is that how the story?
Well, you know, he was elected in 2012, and he's in his final year of his term. And then the trial ended April 26th. And so he comes back and he fires 3 people. And he tells the governor the reason he fired him is because he lost this major confidence in his communications team. So, you know, he doesn't give specifics, which the governor requested why he fired these people. And he tells the governor he hopes Inslee has a deeper concern for what Kelly called the various serious management issues facing the governor's cabinet agencies. And Inslee spokeswoman Jamie Smith called Kelly's response bizarre, adding that it increased Inslee's concerns about the auditor. And so, yeah, this guy...
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, if he decides to run for re-election, it could be a tough hill to climb for him. Is that stepping too out of bounds?
I would say you wouldn't even be able to find the hill to start climbing.
21 here at iFIBER One News Radio. Another story, if we have time to this half hour, is the lawmakers gave themselves passing grades. They gave themselves each other passing grades on a report to the Supreme Court about the McCleary decision and all the schools and whatnot. And we're trying to figure out how to fund schools and better ways to do this. They have been getting a $100,000 fine every day. We're at about $30 million now.
Where's all this money?
And where's all this? Well, just to put this in perspective, how different communities are in this country, and how some folks are well flushed with money, some folks are not so well flushed with money. Here's a story on property taxes and a community spending $63 million to build a new football stadium
for
high school. ABC's Matt Gutman reports.
In the Texas of TV's Friday Night Lights, where high school football is big,
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Stadiums are getting even bigger. The town of McKinney, Texas just voted to build giant 12,000-seat stadium. The price tag, colossal, nearly $63 million. The decision, not without controversy.
Please vote no.
Critics say taxpayers should not be pumping this much money into high school football. But the school district is hinting at what you might call Texas stadium inflation, pointing to behemoths like the ones in Katy and Allen, Texas, both priced at about $60 million.
So that's now the going rate for high school football stadiums in Texas.
Wow.
$60 million.
Wow.
I mean, I've seen Varsity Blues. I get that it's a big deal in Texas.
Right.
And I know that you don't want to mess with Texas. But $60 million for a high school football, what else are they going to use?
How big is the city, I wonder? I mean, seriously. How big is this city that is even going to have this humongous
I don't know, probably
stadium?
12,000 people, and they should.
They're all going to go to the football
No, that's
game.
how it is in there. If you ever seen any of these Friday Night Lights or The Program or Varsity Blues or any of these Texas-based football movies, the whole town just shuts down, and they all go to the football stadium.
$63 million. Wow, that is pretty crazy.
That is crazy. 623.
Now, your political insights from ABC News. As Republican nominee Donald Trump huddles with congressional leaders in Washington, rumors swirl about his vice presidential pick. Governor Rick Scott, who's rumored to be on Trump's shortlist, didn't say he'd turn it down, but responded,
I like the job I have. I have a great job.
Trump also not ruling out New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's leading his transition planning. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton needs just 142 more delegates. But at a rally in Montana, rival Bernie Sanders points out he won more votes in the last two races.
They kind of tell you that the campaign is over, that Secretary Clinton has won. Well, apparently the people of Indiana and West Virginia didn't get the message.
Vice President Joe Biden says he's confident she'll get there.
I feel confident that Hillary will be the nominee, and I feel confident she'll be the next president.
Those are your political insights. I'm Megan Hughes, ABC News.
My Mason Health is more than just convenient access to your personal health record. Imagine yourself on vacation and suddenly you need emergency medical help. My Mason Health can provide crucial information in a medical emergency and later inform your doctor of your treatment. Free online access to your electronic medical record is possible from anywhere in the world, 24/7, from a computer or smartphone. You can share your medical history, medications, allergies, and more with whomever you choose. Ask how you can get connected with My Mason Health at your next hospital or clinic visit.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. It's time we switch to longer-lasting Energy Star light bulbs. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning. It's 7:25. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Psyche, and you are listening to Daybreak. We're going to have a great day today. It's going to hit about the mid-70s.
Ooh, nice.
Very nice. And if you are an early driver, you might have seen some construction work on 101 southbound. I believe that's just some overnight paving that they were doing. I think that's done, but we do have some other stuff to tell you about starting actually tonight. Southbound US 101 in Thurston and Mason counties can expect possible delays. Contractor crews working for the DOT are kicking off a highway pavement preservation project that will extend between Camilchi and Tumwater. This project is to rehabilitate and extend the life of the roadway, and the details are expect single lane closures along various segments of the highway from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. And there's going to be some ramp closures. There's a closure starting tonight, northbound I-5 exit to northbound US 101 in Tumwater. That's scheduled for Thursday, and it's the Thursday overnight. It's just starting before midnight. And then drivers will be detoured via the I-5 exit to Olympia City Center, Henderson Boulevard onto southbound I-5, then onto US 101. It sounds like a cluster, but there obviously will be detour signs, and we'll have all that information on our website as well.
Please remember, give these folks a break.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be going 75 miles. So coming home from work yesterday, I noticed a nice new stretch of pavement there just south of the Little Creek towards Olympia. There had been a lot of ruts in the road. You know what I'm talking? Ruts in the road.
Right.
And so when it rained, it's been a problem. You kind of get, what's that? You fishtail a little. You get stuck in the ruts when it's raining.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a smooth sailing yesterday.
Right. And I just want to correct myself. It was updated. It's going to be starting actually Friday night. It was scheduled for tonight, but it's going to actually be Friday night. We will have that information on our website, but you can't not notice the big, huge trucks and lights and signs, and you will see them. I was looking
at just how many people it takes to do that. There's a lot of people involved in those projects.
There is a lot of people.
727 at iFIBER One News Radio, and a good morning to you. Coming up, we've got some great interviews for you. National Hospital Week is this week, and we're going to talk with representatives from Mason General Hospital and family of clinics in about 15 minutes. In about 45 minutes from Summit Pacific Medical Center, we'll talk about their new virtual care clinic. Also, Bluegrass from the Forest is this weekend, and we are still offering up some tickets. I got a pair for Friday night's shows. 6:30 to 10 is when it's happening. If you want to go to Friday evening's 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest at Shelton High School, the Performing Arts Center, you can give us a call here at 462-1041. Marilyn Foster's coming up in a few minutes.
She has some local news on the City of Shelton to find a city administrator. Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. And she has more on the interviews from yesterday and Monday from the Mason General Hospital and from Shelton School District Health Science Academy.
Yeah. Napa Auto Parts, access to 400,000 parts and even more know-how. To find your local store, visit napaonline.com. This morning at 8:45, we're going to... Have you ever wanted to soak, like throw a water balloon or soak a law enforcement officer? Hey, I got your opportunity coming up.
Yeah, we'll let you know about that in a little bit later.
If you want to get back at Darren Moody, police chief, or anything, he's going to be part of an awesome fundraiser coming up with Choice High School. We'll talk to him about that. Also,
we have a National Association of Letter Carriers food drive. That's happening during this week, but the event takes place on this Saturday. So letter carriers will pick up donated bags of food left at mailboxes, and then this food is distributed to local food banks. So if you have a food, or if you want to be involved in this, go out and buy food and then just pack up a bag and set it by your mailbox. They pick it up Saturday when they deliver your mail. And last year's food drive, carriers collected over 70 million pounds of food.
Wow, that helps.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Get to Napa now for a Napa 5-gallon bucket, just $3.99. Plus, save 20% on 3 or more items you can fit inside it. This weekend only at your participating Napa store.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. A search consultant hired by the City of Shelton to find City Administrator Dave O'Leary's successor has narrowed the list of finalists for the job from around 20 to 6. A reception at the Shelton Civic Center is planned for the finalists on June 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. The finalists will face interview panels, and you'll be able to ask questions. The finalist names will be released once the candidates clear it with the city. Meanwhile, an interim city administrator is being negotiated and should be hired within a week of O'Leary's retirement, May 31st. Mason County Commissioner Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. This week, Commissioner Netherland is rolling out his growing list of endorsements from individuals and elected officials throughout the county and the greater Puget Sound region. You can see that list with this story on our website. Visit the politics page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Earlier this month, Kelly McIntosh of Belfair announced her campaign for Mason County Commissioner District 1. It's National Hospital Week, and Mason General Hospital is partnering with the Shelton School District to create a health science academy for students. Superintendent Dr. Alex Apostle told Daybreak about plans moving forward.
We're going to be sending between 8 and 10 people to Tennessee to take a look at models of academies. Tennessee is kind of leading the way in terms of academies at the high school level. But we're sending a K-12 contingency. Teachers from across the grade levels to really take a look at academies and what we can implement here in Shelton K-12 and beyond. And when I say beyond, that would mean working with Olympic College and universities in the area.
The CEO of Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics, Eric Mull, told Daybreak how this will impact students.
It's almost like we have to hold back because there's a lot of groundwork in terms of training within some of the leadership within the school district and key teachers. They're, going to lead, some of the early curriculum development. But as that matures, that will create opportunities for us to really engage with the school district around job shadowings and really integrating the students into, the work environment so they can start to see how some of what they're learning in the school then translates and applies to work and start to see different career pathways that they might not otherwise have been exposed to.
The Academy will create a pathway for students interested in working in the health field to get training and possible employment right here in Mason County. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
If you could wave a wand and change one thing about your house, what would it be?
Hold that thought, but forget the wand. Home improvement isn't magic.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer, we can show you the tricks of the trade for remodeling and repair.
And how to not get fooled when you're choosing and directing a contractor. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Phone in your fix-up questions here this weekend.
On the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Rare baseball record tied to the nation's capital, and the Warriors and Blues advance. Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports. What a night for Nationals pitcher Max Scherzer.
Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a slider. He has tied the Major League record for strikeouts in a game with 20 strikeouts.
On WJFK, Max Scherzer joins Roger Clemens, Kerry Wood, and Randy Johnson as the only pitchers to strike out 20 in a 9-inning game. Nationals beat the Tigers 3-2. The Splash Brothers are back and close out the series by the Bay.
Clay fires for three. It's good. Clay Thompson. Curry, left hand, crossover right hand, back to the left, behind the back, fades a three. Got it! Oh, my goodness!
On KNBR, Clay Thompson 33, Steph Curry 29. And the Warriors get the 125-121 victory over Portland. The Warriors are now on to the conference finals. And the Raptors beat Miami 99-91 in Toronto. They take a 3-2 series lead. Miami will host Game 6 on Friday. NHL playoffs, it wasn't even close in Big D.
With Brouwer in front, pass to Brouwer to Stastny. Scores! Yuri Letier to Patrick Berglund. He shoots, he scores! 3-0 Blues.
On KMOX, and St. Louis is into the Western Conference Finals after a 6-1 trouncing of the Stars in Dallas in Game 7. The Sharks and Predators play Game 7 tonight. Busy night in baseball. Thor strikes twice in Los Angeles.
The pitch is driven in the air to deep center. At the wall, it is gone! Noah Syndergaard becomes the second Mets pitcher to hit 2 home runs in a game.
On WOR, Syndergaard says, eat your heart out, Bartolo Colon, with a solo and a 3-run shot, and the Mets hold off the Dodgers 4-3. The Padres swept a double dip from the Cubs, taking the first 7-4, while Christian Bethancourt's dinger was enough in the second game.
Deep in the car, rushed. That's going to be out on the street.
On the Padres radio network, and a 1-0 win for San Diego over Chicago. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Shelton Fast Pitch opens up Narrows League tournament play this afternoon at RAC Fields in Lacey. High climbers will face the winner of Foss versus North Thurston at 3 p.m. Day 1 of the Narrows League track and field meet gets underway this afternoon at Shelton High School. Day 2 finishes up on Saturday. Chris Iannetta hit a walk-off home run in extra innings as the Seattle Mariners knocked off the Tampa Bay Rays 6-5.
The 3-2 pitch, swinging a fly ball deep to center field. Going! Gone! Goodbye, baseball! A walk-off home run for Chris Iannetta here in the bottom of the 11th inning. His third home run of the season, and the Mariners come away with a 6-5 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they sweep aside Tampa Bay. Iannetta greeted by his teammates at home plate. Holy smokes, what a way to wrap it up this afternoon.
The win puts the M's at 21-13 on the season, a game and a half up over Texas for first place in the AL West. Seattle is off today, then are back in action tomorrow night hosting the Anaheim Angels. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
$7:37 on a Thursday morning. Good morning to you, Daybreak. Jeff and Carol. Looks nice and sunny out there right now. We're going to have a beautiful day here in the South Sound, looking at more sunny skies and coming up maybe a slight chance of showers on Saturday, but otherwise we're looking, things are pretty good, and it is right now about 41.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning to you at 7:38. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey, and you are listening to Daybreak. We have some great guests coming up. Hospital Week continues this week. We have Marcia Rolick, Director of Women's and Children's Services, and Chris Gaw, RN, Team Leader for the Birth Center. They're going to be in about 5 or so 10 minutes. They're going to talk about the Women's and Children's Services at Mason General Hospital and Family Clinics. Also, continuing with Hospital Week, we have Lauren and Nicole from Summit Pacific Medical Center. They're going to talk to us about providing a virtual care clinic, which sounds really interesting. And then we also have some bluegrass from the forest. We're not going to have some bluegrass from the forest. We're going to have some representatives from Bluegrass in the Forest, and they're going to come in and talk to us about the event that takes place this weekend. We've been giving tickets away all morning. Mm-hmm. We have more to give away.
Yeah, if you want to go to Friday night's, tomorrow night's show, 6:30 to 10 for the 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest at Shelton High School. You can give us a call, 462-1041, pair of tickets to Friday night's performance.
Sounds great. And then we also have our Focus on Shelton, sponsored by our community credit union. And today we have Chief Darren Moody from the Shelton Police. He's going to speak on Peace Officers Memorial Day, which is May 15th, and Police Week, which is an observance that pays tribute to the local, state, and federal peace officers who have died in the line of duty. And he'll be on about 8:45.
We've launched a brand new website at iFIBER1newsradio.com. After a short, quick login registration process, you have the opportunity now to comment on all of our stories. Also, you can post lost and found pets, events to our community calendar, and more user interaction is coming down the pike, but that's all at the new iFIBER1newsradio.com. Additionally, you see the Daybreak show will pop up live from 6 to 9 weekdays, just in the top right corner of iFIBER1newsradio.com.
Taylor Shellfish is a proud sponsor of the Environmentally Sound program. For 5 generations, the Taylor family's been stewards of a healthy and prosperous Puget Sound. In partnership with nature, Taylor Shellfish brings you the freshest, most sustainable shellfish you'll ever eat. Visit their store at 136 Southeast Lynch Road, open daily from 10 to 6, and they're online at TaylorShellfishFarms.com.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
Take your relationship with oysters to the next level. Visit Hama Hama Oyster Company. The retail store is a stone's throw from the oyster beds, and now you can enjoy a delicious shellfish meal in their new outside waterfront dining area. Delicious oysters, plus fresh clams, smoked salmon, Dungeness crab, and more. Make the trip to Hama Hama Oyster Company. Enjoy world-class oysters at Lilawat prices. Hama Hama.
Your small business needs a loyalty rewards program, but email and paper cards are not effective, and using your POS system where you have to do all the work is bad as well. Go mobile. 95% of customers will check your marketing message on their smartphones in the first 5 minutes you send it, and we do all the work for you for under $150 a month. Call Puget Sound Perks today, 253-584-1212, or visit psperks.com. Reward your customers, and they'll reward you back.
Join Alex Jones weeknights from 6 to 10 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Now they're moving where there's kill switches in the last 3 years on all the new phones. And these are now in the threat fusion centers. The average cops haven't been getting access to it yet, but they will. Where you hit a button and on a street level or a grid level or part of a city or a whole state, all the phones stop working entirely or the camera functions turn on. I told you about that 10 years ago. It's now in the news last year and this year because they're rolling out with it operationally at the Homeland Security level.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio. This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak.
Get clues during the Monday morning sports report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner.
First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the May 28th game against the Minnesota Twins.
Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFiberOneNewsRadio.com.
It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning. I'm Carol Gardner. It's about 7:45. Along with Jeff Slakey, you are listening to Daybreak, and Hospital Week is this week. And in studio, we have Marcia Rolick. Good morning, Marcia.
Good morning.
She's the Director of Women's and Children's Services at Mason General Hospital and Family Clinics.
Correct.
And since National Hospital Week, we're celebrating all things hospital, and so we have this Women's and Children's Services. And is this a new thing for the hospital?
It is. We talked about it for a lot of last year and combined a few things, and then starting in January, a number of services have now been rolled together to the benefit of women's and children's.
Okay, so is this just for moms? Or is this women in general, and then women with children, and then just children?
It is for every woman in the community through the entire spectrum of her life, and then it includes our pediatric services. So we know that taking good care of women, if you can help support them, they're the ones, for the most part. I don't want to be, gender specific here, but women often are the nurturers, and so we're trying to offer something more for them and give them reassurance and support and a continuous spectrum of care.
Okay, so this is new. Why hasn't this really been done before?
To be able to do this, you need to bring your ambulatory care, which is your clinics, your office visits, into the fold. So over the last few years, the hospital has worked within the community, brought more of the clinics together. So now we are all the family of clinics. we've worked more collaboratively. We've always walked across the street and talked about issues and worked on things together, but now we are under one umbrella. So someone starts at the office with, say they're pregnant, they get their obstetric care there, they have the baby goes to one of our family practice or pediatric clinics, they continue their care after having the baby, and then as you mature up and your kids grow, then we can offer the gynecological services and then focus on the more mature woman and the issues of perimenopause and I'm afraid to sneeze, so really trying to give one place, one feel, familiar faces.
Okay, so when you say clinics, excuse me, these are not all located in the hospital, or they're sort of surrounding the hospital, but even though if it's not physically within the hospital, it's still all a part of the family of the clinics.
Right. Well, the hospital has kind of an expanded campus now, and we're looking at also of how to bring those more together, but that's for people at a different level than me to talk about. But there is a women's clinic that has all board certified OBGYNs plus a wonderful PA, and we're looking at some other options to bring, some things that women seem to want in the community in for there. And that's, a walk across the parking lot in a little street. The pediatric clinic is across another street, and the family practice clinic see children also. And then we have OB pediatrics departments meetings, which is all the leaders in all of those various areas.
Okay, so what kind of what would you say the proudest job you've done for the clinic, or what's one of the really great things that's happening with this clinic?
Okay. With Women's and Children's Services, one of the things that Chris Gall, who's manager of the Birth Center, and Barbara Schmidt, who is manager for the pediatrics and women's clinics, we are hitting quality targets that many people don't expect from a small hospital. For example, we are part of the Washington State Hospital Association Safe Deliveries initiative, which is throughout the state. They have set very ambitious targets for reducing unnecessary cesarean sections. We just got our state data back for the last few years, and we are already meeting the 2018 targets set. But our baby outcomes are still lovely. So we're this is a group that pulls together. We look at the quality stuff. We're not being small hospital. We're being what is best practice anywhere. We are working on the supporting breastfeeding initiatives, Breastfeeding Washington, and getting our rates for breastfeeding and continued breastfeeding higher and offering support and having more lactation consultants. We are doing an infant safe sleep project that we're going to work for. There's bronze, silver, and gold certification that they just as a new program. And that starts in the office where you talk to people about you're pregnant, you have to have a safe place for your baby to sleep. Where do you plan on? What do you need? What do you know? Teaching safe sleep practices and creating a safe crib in the hospital, and then following up with it over and when they have their pediatric visit, and once again saying, where's your baby sleeping, and giving the advice. Period of purple crying to reduce infant deaths from abuse, to help people learn coping skills, because babies are cute, but they're not particularly easy to live with, shall we say, at first. I mean,
not necessarily a new father, but two-year.
I would concur.
Yeah. So you need coping skills, because sometimes you're like, quit crying. What do you want? And, it helps to know, sometimes babies just cry. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It's normal. We've done dry. We've done fed. Okay, I'm walking away. Leaving you alone for a little bit,
So we're talking with Marcia Rolick, Director of Women's and Children's Services at Mason General Hospital and Family Clinics. And it sounds like education is something that's really setting you apart from other types of similar services in other areas.
Yeah, and this is an advantage of being small. Our patients in the clinics and in the hospital get more personalized care that's a little less rushed. It's all not about how many can I see and make money or how fast can we get them out. It is to keep people successful and at home and not coming in sick. You've got to teach, and you've got to teach in ways that you can get through and be heard and is individualized. And we can do that.
Yeah, this every time we hear somebody from the hospital talking about how it sounds so progressive, and it's such a small town, you would think, oh, you're sort of, you know, in the backwards, but not with the hospital. It sounds very progressive, and you're out there educating the people, and it's, how did you, I mean, is this something that you've always done, or do you come from a background of being more progressive or educating, and that's how you filtered this into the hospital?
My background was bigger hospitals, more acute care. I came from a place in Denver where we did more deliveries in a month than we do here in a year. I worked neonatal intensive care. I did perinatal education, which was more for nurses. But there's a number of us that just seem to all kind of land in the area and then get recruited to the area. Coming, you know, people were ready to retire, and so when of course they chose well. I'm here. What can I say? But seriously, I mean, there's been thought put into. You've got to provide quality care no matter how big you are or where you are. I think we're realistic about what we can't do. We have strong referral relationships. I'll talk up another department, but we can get heart attack patients from our emergency department. So from the field, talking to the emergency department all the way, we can get them in our ED, determine if they are or aren't having a heart attack. If they are having a heart attack, we can get them back in that ambulance up to the cath lab in Olympia as fast or faster than our referral hospitals get their own patients out of their own ED into their cath lab.
Wow.
So then that's quality, that's collaboration, that's coordination. So yeah, getting the right people with the right thing. And our COO, who's in charge of the clinical part of things, COO CNO, Eileen Branscombe, is all about quality. And there are no excuses. But it is realistic and with support and for, the staff to get us there. But you will, if you're responsible for something, you will get it there.
We're talking with Marcia Rolick, Director of Women's and Children's Services. And we were going to have Kriska on. She's the team manager for the Birth Center. She's not here, but is there anything you want to say on her behalf about the Birth Center?
Chris and the team at the Birth Center provide such individualized care and caring. And again, I've been doing this for a long time in a lot of places. And this is a staff that knows their patients by name. They're like, she was up all night and we worked hard on breastfeeding, so don't bother her this morning. And if someone doesn't want visitors, they very kindly and gently are like, please, can you come back later? I know she'd love to see you, but it is a lovely crew. It is the best group I've ever worked with in over 35 years of being a nurse and being a manager. Truly the best group ever. We are, as I said, part of the Safe Deliveries Collaborative, which is a great Washington State effort that is having real results. The state has a lot to be proud of in this community. I hope is as proud of the hospital as I am pleased to work there.
Okay.
I thought I wouldn't like it. It was small. I really wondered what I was doing, and I was hooked by the people, the community, a leadership that has us in the community. It isn't a hospital silo. You're part of what's going on, and you feel like you can make a difference.
Thank you, Marcia. Marcia Rolick, Director of Women's and Children's Services, and it's our continuing discussion with Hospital Week.
7:55 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio.
ABC Entertainment News. Here's Jason Nathanson.
All the times that you rain on my parade.
If you see Justin Bieber out on the town, don't try to take a picture with him. The 22-year-old singer writes on Instagram that he's done with the fan selfies. He says people don't say hi or treat him like a human. He feels like a zoo animal, and it's making him crazy. He finishes by saying, just because you bought his album doesn't mean he owes you a picture.
And I'm planning on taking you alive.
Looks like Captain America Chris Evans has a hit movie and a new girlfriend. People magazine and other outlets report the superhero is dating actress and comedian Jenny Slate. She does the Marcel the Shell voice and was in the critically acclaimed movie Obvious Child, among other things. They met on their upcoming movie Gifted. NBC is getting a superhero series, and it's a comedy from DC. Powerless stars Vanessa Hudgens as an insurance adjuster who insures people against damage caused by superheroes. In theory, the show would be for next season. I'm Jason Nathanson.
Seedlings you've started indoors this spring need time to get used to outdoor life. We'll share some tips to help the transition on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, May 12th, the 133rd day of the year. Musician Steve Winwood shares a birthday with composer Burt Bacharach. When it's time to transplant seedlings from indoors into the garden, it's important to gradually harden off the young plants. During their last week indoors, lower the temperature, withhold fertilizer, and water less often. Introduce plants to the outdoors over a week to 10 days, gradually exposing them to more sun and wind. If your transplants don't have individual containers, take care not to disturb the roots of neighboring plants as you remove them. And finally, be sure all threat of frost has passed for your growing zone. That's the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more gardening tips and the frost dates for your region at almanac.com.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning to you. Daybreak, iFIBER One News Radio, and a new iFIBER1newsradio.com website is where you can find videos of local news stories, including an update on the man who rescued the drowning swimmer. He tells his story of jumping into Lake Cushman. Also, a Shelton woman sustains burns in a fire that destroys the home. That was a conversation that we heard from Central Mason Fire and EMS Deputy Chief Mike Patty yesterday morning. He called into the Daybreak show at 462-1041 to tell us about that. That phone number also is available right now for you if you want to go to the Friday evening 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest, which is coming up at Shelton High School Performing Arts Center, 462-1041. I've got a pair of tickets for you to go to the Friday evening show from 6:30 to 10. Great night of entertainment, bluegrass music. Mike Cleveland and the Flame Cleapers will be performing from Indiana, Rob Ikes and Trey Hensley from Nashville, North Country from Seattle, the Blackberry Bushes from up there as well, Green Mountain Bluegrass Band from Salem, and local favorites Runaway Train will be performing throughout the weekend at the 2016 Bluegrass from the Forest. It's their 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest.
We have some things to pass on to you. There is the National Association of Letters Carriers Food Drive. They have it every year around May, and it takes place this Saturday, May 14th. So if you have some food or go out and get some, just place them in a plastic or paper bag and put it right at your mailbox, and they will pick it up when they deliver your mail on Saturday. Last year's food drive, carriers collected 70.6 million pounds of food, which is pretty good. Also, another piece of information to pass on to you is there are going to be some nighttime, overnight lane and ramp closures on US 101 in Thurston and Mason counties, and we'll have that information on our website.
8 o'clock and ABC News is coming up next.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Alex Jones and InfoWars on from 6 to 9 weekdays on iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3 KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee and GOP leaders finishing up with their first round of private meetings of the minds and possible battle of wills.
Donald Trump built his primary campaign on being a political outsider, but today he came to establishment headquarters literally, meeting with the highest elected Republican official, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, and the head of the Republican National Committee, Reince Priebus, here on Capitol Hill. Priebus tweeting, quote, "The meeting was great. It was a very positive step towards party unity." Many Republicans Republicans are still wrapping their heads around the idea of Donald Trump as their president, while Trump is looking for their support and their funding. Lana Zach, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
It's a high-stakes shakeup. Bernie Sanders switching up campaign staff in California.
Sanders' campaign manager says the director of his California campaign has been replaced less than a month before the state votes. It's almost impossible to overstate California's importance to Sanders. While he took 19 delegates in West Virginia, California has 546. The director was reportedly fired over disagreements in strategy. In recent days, he told ABC News that simply doing big rallies was not going to cut it in the Golden State.
ABC's Brad Milkey reporting. We all dread those long lines at the airports. Now Delta Airlines says it can help.
Delta Airlines says it'll assist the TSA by providing additional staff to free up more checkpoint lanes at peak times, lend expertise from engineers on optimizing foot traffic flow, refurbishing a checkpoint at Atlanta's airport, and offering deals with its frequent flyer programs to help expedite document check-in and biometric verification. The TSA's come under fire in recent weeks for longer than usual lines, being blamed on high travel volume and reduced staff. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
On Wall Street, stocks rebounding from yesterday's sell-off. Investors encouraged by a comeback in crude oil prices so far and better than expected earnings. This is ABC News.
Take a test mow today on the John Deere Z535M Z-Track zero-turn mower with the re-engineered Excel Deep mower deck to mow faster, better. Because it's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast. Visit your local John Deere dealer today and see why nothing runs like a deer.
Visit your local John Deere dealer today to take advantage of special savings going on now. Find out more at myjohndeeredealer.com.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
That is fast, like rocket fast.
It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Mason County is hiring, so stop those long commutes and work where you live. Look for employment opportunities at the Mason County website.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. A search consultant hired by the city of Shelton to find City Administrator Dave O'Leary's successor has narrowed the list of finalists for the job from around 20 to 6. A reception at the Shelton Civic Center is planned for the finalists on June 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. The finalists will face interview panels, and you'll be able to ask questions. The finalist names will be released once the candidates clear it with the city. Meanwhile, an interim city administrator is being negotiated and should be hired within a week of O'Leary's retirement, May 31st. Mason County Commissioner Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. This week, Commissioner Netherland is rolling out his growing list of endorsements from individuals and elected officials throughout the county and the greater Puget Sound region. You can see that list with this story on our website. Visit the politics page at iFiber1newsradio.com. Earlier this month, Kelly McIntosh of Belfair announced her campaign for Mason County Commissioner District 1. It's National Hospital Week. Mason General Hospital is partnering with the Shelton School District to create a health science academy for students. Superintendent Dr. Alex Apostle told Daybreak about plans moving forward.
We're going to be sending between 8 and 10 people to Tennessee to take a look at models of academies. Tennessee is kind of leading the way in terms of academies at the high school level. But we're sending a K-12 contingency, teachers from across the grade levels to really take a look at academies and what we can implement here in Shelton K-12 and beyond. And when I say beyond, that would mean working with Olympic College and universities in the area.
The CEO of Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics, Eric Mull, told Daybreak how this will impact students.
It's almost like we have to hold back because there's a lot of groundwork in terms of training within some of the leadership within the school district and key teachers. They're, going to lead, some of the early curriculum development. But as that matures, that will create opportunities for us to really engage with the school district around job shadowings and really integrating the students into, the work environment so they can start to see how some of what they're learning in the school then translates and applies to work and start to see different career pathways that they might not otherwise have been exposed to.
The Academy will create a pathway for students interested in working in the health field to get training and possible employment right here in Mason County. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Yeah, good morning to you. Daybreak, iFIBER One News Radio. It's 8:06, and we are talking this morning right now about bluegrass from the forest. And Dwayne and Greg are back in studio with us. Morning again, guys.
Good morning. Thanks for having us back.
We had you in last week, and all throughout the week here, people have been calling in feverishly to get tickets to Bluegrass from the Forest. We've been giving out, I think we've given out almost all of our passes that you passed along to us. It is this weekend, Friday night, there's a show, a Saturday matinee, Saturday evening, and Sunday show. There's some really great world-renowned, Grammy-nominated bluegrass bands that are coming into town. I thought today we would talk about what kind of music we would hear, what makes it bluegrass music, and is it just bluegrass that we're going to be hearing? Greg, let's start with you.
No, it's not just bluegrass, but that's the main theme. I call it from traditional to the contemporary bluegrass, but bluegrass can be you can take a rock and roll song and make it bluegrass with the instrumentation and the vocals.
Do you ever hear that at Bluegrass from the Forest? People playing rock and roll music?
Absolutely.
We've had Beatles songs up there. A Billy Joel song one
Billy
time.
Joel,
I think.
yeah.
Really? They bluegrass it up. It's kind of fun, especially some of the younger bands. Blackberry Bushes are apt to do something along that line.
Blackberry Bushes are kind of an out of the box. They're not. They have bluegrass elements to them and bluegrass instrumentation, but they definitely. The millennial generation responds to them. They're a younger band.
They'll be doing a dance in the sub in the cafeteria. There'll be a dance on there on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, the showcase stage. They'll have. Well, I mean, they can. There'll be dance room there. They can play. It's pretty danceable music. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's fun. Just a little different, like he says. He's good at bringing in.
They just got back. They just got back from Vermont.
So the purists may not quite key in on the
on that band, but the rest of these are pretty traditional.
Some great purist. I mean, there's amazing.
So Mike Cleveland is the main headliner and Flamekeeper. They're from Indiana. Grammy nominated. They're big time in the bluegrass industry.
Yes, and IBMA, which is International Bluegrass Music Association, they have their awards ceremony every year similar to the Country Music Awards, and it's a really in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's a really well produced show. Anyway, they've won, I think, 11 Fiddler of the Year. Michael Cleveland has won 11 times.
Wow!
And the band has won several times. It's been Grammy nominated. Also,
in addition to them, Rob Ickes and Trey Hensley coming out from Nashville. What kind of music is it? Still the bluegrass or a more Americana style? Is there a difference?
It's definitely bluegrass. It's a duo though. It's guitar and dobro.
Oh,
and they both sing, and they sound like a whole band. They're quite amazing.
So what's a dobro? What would it sound like? What would somebody?
Resonator guitar?
Yeah, it's a brand name, but Resonator guitar. It's shaped like a guitar. It's got a metal resonator in it, and you play it with a bar.
Okay.
Almost like a steel
Like
guitar.
a steel guitar. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah. That's a great
unamplified
sound.
other than through the mics.
Sits on your lap.
I love that sound.
We'll probably have 10 or 15 dobro players at the festival playing, jamming too, besides the performers.
Yeah, he's one of the he's up there with Jerry Douglas in stature.
So let's talk about the showcases and the jamming that's going to be going on around not only the high school at the Performing Arts Center, but all throughout the campus. When it comes to this, you mentioned maybe 10 of these style dobro players or steel guitar style players. When they jam, everybody just gets together and somebody goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and they just go, right?
They'll usually call out the song and then the key they're playing it in, and then if you don't know it, you try to follow as best you can, and it goes around, and it goes around, and people make eye contact, and then you'll take a break, and you'll take a break, and Greg will take a break. And
It happens
I'm a bass
throughout
player,
the-
I don't take a break. So
Right.
You're very often.
It happens throughout the campground.
Yeah, and that's traditionally how it works. The people just take turns recommending songs, and then you'll say, "Oh, I'll start this one," and maybe Greg will start the next one, and it just kind of happens.
What fun!
It is fun. Meet a lot of nice people.
Let's talk about stuff for the kids. Kids they're learning instruments. They're able to pick up some facts and some fun ways to play from some Grammy nominated and national winners of things. What else can the kids get involved with?
They can just hang out and watch the shows. They can jam in the jam circles wherever they if they're camping or
They'll sit
during the
in.
day.
I've jammed with a lot of 11, 12, year olds that are just phenomenal.
What if you don't have an instrument?
You just walk around and listen.
Yeah.
Or if you're a singer.
Watch the shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people join in and sing, depending on if they know the songs. So.
Where can we get tickets to this thing?
Locally, you can get them in Shelton at the Chamber of Commerce, ProBuild, Tupper's Floor Covering, Olson Furniture, Brilliant Moon Bookstore, and Heritage Bank, and then in Olympia at Music 6000, and out in Belfair at Mitchell Lumber, and online at bluegrassfromtheforest.com. I had someone today buy one from Shelton.
And at the door.
And at the door, yeah.
Door. It's at the Shelton High School Performing Arts Center and campus. The 12th annual. It's been going strong, and we're looking like it's going to be a pretty decent weekend this weekend for sure, when everybody's inside, it'll be great sounding. And you're on the sub stage there. Dave Meiser that is some top-notch equipment there.
Oh, we're in the Performing Arts Center is where the main show is, but the showcase stage is at the sub.
Yeah.
And they have a great sound system set up there. Dave Meiser is just a master at sound and the whole presentation. He has that auditorium looking good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal sound. And there'll be video, 6-camera video.
Yeah, he's got it set up.
He does.
Runaway
He does a good job of
Train
teaching it.
is going to be there, and it's this incarnation of Runaway Train, as I know you guys have got some rotating members,
Yes,
some younger
we do.
members.
This year will be it's going to be really fun. We got a new mandolin player he just moved up here from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be fun.
I like it. So if you want to go to the Friday evening show for the 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest, it's at the Shelton High School Performing Arts Center. Friday evening show, 6:30 to 10. And we've got passes for you right now. You can give us a call, 462-1041. You can also go to bluegrassfromtheforest.com to buy your tickets or stop off at any of the ticket locations that Dwayne mentioned to us here. Dwayne and Greg on the air to talk Bluegrass from the Forest this weekend. Is everything ready? Are you guys ready?
We're getting there. We'll be setting up the stage tonight.
When do the RVs start showing up? As soon as school gets out?
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning. In fact, we have a different location because last year the line was waiting to get in, was clear down to the stoplight on Wallace Nealon. So we're going to have to be moving the wait location this time up the road a half mile.
You will definitely hear some sweet sounds of great music throughout the weekend coming from, you hear it, you go, what's that? It's the great Bluegrass from the Forest at Shelton High School. Dwayne, Greg, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Great to
us.
see you. Have a good weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
8:15 now at iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
The one constant in this world is change, continuing and inevitable. Things here in Mason County are about to change for the better. iFIBER Communications is now a proud service provider for Mason County PUD3. iFIBER Communications is now offering high-speed internet in Mason County. Next generation ISP services to your home and business. Next generation internet, 100 megabit per second speed to your home. Next generation television, high definition television unlike anything you've ever seen before. Next generation telephone, never get a long distance bill again. iFIBER Communications is so much more than just an ISP. We're part of the story that is yet to be told here in Mason County. Change is here. iFIBER Communications. To find out more, stop by our offices, 3rd and Coda, or call 427-4000 or find us at iFIBER.tv.
This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet. We're going to save you money. Montesano has one of the lowest sales tax rates in the state. Plus, our costs are way less than other dealers. And right now, we're offering up to 90 days with no payments on any new or used vehicles with proof of your tax refund. They all come with lifetime oil changes to boot. Stop by and visit WhitneyChev.com to check out our inventory.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Words that drive to Whitney's, just down the road to Whitney.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It's Daybreak at iFIBER One News Radio with Jeff and Carol. We are continuing our great conversations here with National Hospital Week. And from Summit Pacific Medical Center, we have Lauren, who's the Director of Development and Communication, and Nicole, who's the Marketing Specialist. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to have you back on the air here. And this is a pretty cool thing that you guys are rolling out here. By June or so, people will be able to use a webcam, a phone camera, or so, basically it's like Skype or FaceTime to connect with your virtual care clinic. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. We'll be launching our Summit Virtual Care Clinic at the end of this month. And basically, it's going to be accessible 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and you can access it anywhere from your home, work. Let's say you don't want to, get away for a couple hours at work for an appointment with your doctor, but you have a earache or a sore throat or something like that. You could just pull out your phone or log on to your computer, and within a couple of minutes, a provider will be able to assist you using the webcam and just talking online or using the phone as well.
When we were talking about this, I thought back to my last visit at the doctor's office, and there was no checking. The nurse before the doctor came in did my pulse or whatever, but the doctor himself, there was no touching. So we could have had a virtual meeting here.
That's right. And these doctors can guide you through taking your own pulse and reporting those numbers to them. And then they also specialize in primary care, so they can take care of those things for you.
What about like prescriptions and stuff like that, though? Is that part of this?
Yeah. So they won't do narcotics.
Okay.
But other than that, so if you did need a narcotic or something like that, they would tell you to go down to the emergency room or go see your primary care provider when you can get your next appointment. Other than that, the basic antibiotics and stuff like that, they can definitely prescribe over, and obviously it's 24/7. So if you log in at midnight, you might have to wait till the next day to go get your prescription, but they'll be able to write you your prescription, and then you can go to the pharmacy the next morning when it opens.
So it sort of reminds me like you're on a website and somebody pops up. Somebody's here to chat with you. Is that sort of like the same thing you're going to find when you go on the website, that there's going to be somebody standing by, or is there going to be like a wait time?
Sure.
Like
so you request an appointment, and within 30 minutes you'll be seen. So it could be really soon. It could be a little bit longer, but within 30 minutes patients are seen, and most appointments are over by that time.
But This is amazing, because if you go to the doctor's office, you'll sit in the waiting room for half an hour.
That's right.
So if
or just getting in your car and driving, find a parking spot, getting out.
So this will save a lot of time, not only for the patient, but I'm sure for the doctors themselves. They don't have to go from room to room or patient to patient. They're able to quickly diagnose these things but still have a nice interaction with people.
Yeah, and think about the convenience for parents. You don't have to find a sitter for your kids or load them up in the car and unload them and, keep them happy while you're waiting around.
So if you have a primary care doctor, will that primary care doctor be available, or do you sort of take who the doctor is available?
So right now, the primary care clinic will be run through a third-party vendor, and so they have a whole supply of these doctors. So our doctors, we'll say, or our providers that work at Summit aren't going to be the ones that you'll see when you go to a virtual care clinic. Those would still be like your primary care providers. So this service is kind of more like an urgent care style. So where you don't need your physical, you're not going to do your physical through virtual care clinic or something like that. But, it's 11 at night and your 3-year-old has an earache and you don't want to drive to the ER, and maybe it's a Friday night and your doctor's not open Saturday or Sunday. So you just want to call in and get that urgent care style appointment with them. And then they'll probably be like, you should follow up with your primary care provider in a week or so to make sure that the antibiotic I prescribed you during this virtual care clinic is working, and they can, just make sure everything's going right.
Yeah, these visits to the virtual care clinic aren't meant to replace your visit with your primary care provider, but we can share those records with your primary care. And also, if you don't have a primary care provider, we can help you get one.
Oh, I was just talking with someone yesterday, and this seems to me like the next evolution. And like my folks used to call the consulting nurse. Oh, just got an ear infection or something. Let's call the consulting nurse, see what they have to say. But to have a video interaction and to see some of this stuff, what's the cost associated with this for the patient?
It'll be a $40 payment.
Okay.
And so you'll pay online, probably using a credit card. Yeah. and then if they can't help you, let's say, so they'll triage you kind of when you get on there, and they'll tell you pretty quickly, like, oh, this is something you really should go to the ER for. Your fever's way too high. They're not going to collect that $40. Basically, it'll just go right back onto your credit card or bank statement. But if they do treat you, then it would be a $40 charge.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. And the thing I like about it is sometimes it's very hard to describe what's going on with you over the phone to somebody. And this way they can see you and you can say, hey, this is what's happening. And the doctor can see you and hopefully be able to figure it out better than you trying to describe something.
Like you like rashes and stuff like that. They're going to be able to see that.
Pull up your sleeve and whip it out on the camera.
Wow, this seems like it's quite beneficial to the patients. I mean, with all the time saved, for sure. How did you guys come up with this? You find this somewhere? Is this a model being used elsewhere, or?
I think we're really just trying to evolve the care that we provide. So we really focus on the primary care and bringing the right care to the patient at the right time and the right price and all that. And so first we started with our primary care clinics and our 24/7 emergency department. And then a year and a half ago, so now we opened our urgent care clinic, which, expands on that primary care clinic, and that people could come in till 8 o'clock or on weekends without having an appointment. And now this is just that next step of, you still might not be able to come into that urgent care clinic, or you're not sure if you want to make that drive and you kind of just want to consult with someone and possibly just be treated right there at your home or in your office. It's hard for people at work. Sometimes you don't want to take a half day off of work just to go see your provider. Maybe, you just have that little thing in the corner that says, okay, it looks like I have about 10 minutes left. And then the doctor pops up and says, are you ready now? And you just break from your work for a little bit, have your appointment, and then go right back to work. So it's just kind of that next step in bringing care to you where you need it in the best way possible.
We want to create access. We want to be there for our patients wherever they are and whenever they need us. And with the $40 flat fee, it's a lot less intimidating maybe for those who don't have insurance, because they know what they're going to pay going into this. And so, again, creating that access and not the intimidation of going in and not knowing what you're going to pay.
And Lauren, you make sense there when you say someone takes a half day off work, and it turns out that by the time they get in and get to the doctor and get out, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, and you've given up on half of your day's wages.
Yeah, because you don't know how long it's going to
you
take.
don't know.
So you kind of have to just plan for half day off. And
Summit Pacific Medical Center is in Elma, but you don't have to be a member or even live in Elma to use this either, right?
No, you don't. You really can't be anywhere. So even let's say you're traveling, you're on vacation in Oregon, on the Oregon coast, and you get a stuffy nose or something, and you can log in then and do it right, from your vacation.
We have had you on a couple times over the last couple of years to talk about the growth of Summit Pacific, and it all sounds like things are going quite well. Any new on the horizon for you guys?
Well, this is kind of the horizon. They always
deal.
have lots of exciting things, and you mentioned that we're in Elma, but I also just want to, point out that we just opened that brand new clinic in McCleary, which is a huge, beautiful facility right on the main strip there through town, which is exciting. And then so we're kind of feeling like this takes us beyond even Grace Harbor, the capabilities for people to use our services. But I'm trying to think of what else is.
Yeah, that's pretty big news in itself.
Yes, and really the goal is eventually down the road to have our providers be able to see some patients this way. Like they'll be able to know, oh, Mrs. Jones just needs to have a quick check-in, but let's not make 80-year-old Mrs. Jones drive all the way in to see me. I'm just going to, schedule an appointment with her on the phone or something like that. And so we're kind of going to use this process as that learning tool to see how they do it and see how we can maybe even incorporate it for our primary care patients.
It almost sounds too like we're going back to the model in a roundabout sort of way of when the doctors would come to your house.
Yeah, house calls. Kind of,
house calls.
Exactly.
Wow.
It kind of is like that.
Summit Pacific Medical Center and this virtual care clinic going to be up and running by the end of the month, and you can find out more information at their website. What is the Summit Pacific Medical Center website?
SummitPacificMedicalCenter.org.
Nice and easy, right there. Lauren, Nicole, thank you so much for coming in during National Hospital Week.
Thanks for having us.
8:27 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. We'll take a break, and when we come back, the latest in local news.
Say, what's for lunch? Breakfast. No, what's for lunch? Oh, yeah, breakfast. Breakfast for lunch? Yep. Then what's for dinner? Breakfast is. I thought you said breakfast was for lunch. Oh, I totally did. But now you're saying breakfast is for dinner. Oh, yeah, I am. So, wait, is lunch for breakfast? No, breakfast is for breakfast. With McDonald's all-day breakfast menu, which includes the Egg McMuffin, hot cakes, and hash browns, anytime is delicious breakfast time. Man, I'm heading to McDonald's. Have a good afternoon. Don't you mean good morning? I do now.
McDonald's all-day breakfast menu varies by location.
This is Craig. He's keeping cool this summer with over 30 drinks at McDonald's, like McCafe smoothies or frappes for $2, and that's a good decision. Now, trying to mountain bike down a hill while carrying all 30 of those drinks? Not so much. It's okay, Craig. Your favorite small McCafe drinks like a caramel frappe and frozen strawberry lemonade are $2 at McDonald's, and McCafe brewed coffee or soft drinks are only $1. Price and participation may vary.
You know, there's nothing like the look and feel of a real newspaper. Award-winning writers in design, voted one of the best newspapers in Washington, the Mason County Journal has the news, opinion, and information you want. Full of colorful photos and great-looking ads. Share it with family and friends. No electricity required. Look for us at over 80 locations throughout the county or visit masoncounty.com. The Mason County Journal, a big part of this wonderful place we call home.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Hey, good morning to you, Daybreak, iFIBER ONE News Radio. Get the morning stock numbers from Edward Jones, Karen Shade's Edward Jones office on State Route 3 in just a couple of moments. And Marilyn Foster has the latest in local news. I'd like to draw your attention to the all-new iFIBER1NewsRadio.com website. Plenty of new videos available from News Director Jeff Chu and Sports Director Sean Wells has focusing heavily on Shelton sports. You can find all of their video features on the all-new iFIBER1NewsRadio.com. Now, on the phone line from Edward Jones, let's say good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. This is Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. What's happening?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jeff. Oh. We're having a seminar tonight at the Magnolia Room, which is behind Smoke and Moe's.
Uh-huh.
It's an investing seminar, so it's for everybody. Does it make any difference how old you are, how much money you make? this is the seminar for you. So we're inviting your listeners to come, and we're going to have food, and it's going to be a really good learning experience.
So it's at the Magnolia Room, which is just off of the Smoke and Moe's restaurant there. What's the time?
It's at 6 o'clock. So if everybody can show up, it'd be very beneficial to them.
Okay. Very interesting. An investing seminar.
Yes, you should come, Jeff.
Never too early to start investing.
That is correct.
And even if you start late, you can still get a good return.
That's right. It doesn't make any difference how old you are or how much you make. This is a seminar for you.
Very nice. Sherry, what's going on with Wall Street?
Well, this morning the U.S. stocks have reversed early gains and are edging lower despite higher crude oil prices. In economic news, the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits rose last week to the highest level in more than a year. Claims for the prior week were unrevised. In corporate news, Honeywell announced the intention to spin off from the chemicals business, which was approximately $1.3 billion in sales. U.S. bond prices are trending lower. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best sector is basic materials and the worst is healthcare. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 35.99 at 17,675, and the Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down 2.49 at 2,061. The NASDAQ Index is down 33.15 at 4,727. This morning's volume on the New York Stock Exchange is moderate, with 245.70 million shares traded. Decliners are outnumbering advancers by roughly a 2-to-1 margin. In commodity markets, gold is down $9.10 to $1,268.09. Silver is down 32 cents to $17.09. Crude oil prices are up 9 cents to $46.32. In bond markets, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently at 2.61%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is at 1.74%. In local stocks today, we have Amazon, which is down $1.38. Costco is down 35 cents. Boeing is up $1.06. Starbucks is down 37 cents. Microsoft is up 6 cents. This is Sherry of the Edward Jones, member of the SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. We are located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3, Suite E in Shelton, or you can give us a call at 426-4590. Hope to see you guys tonight.
All right, Sherry. And again, it is at the Magnolia Room at 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, and that's right behind Smoke and Moe's, and we're going to have some delicious food there.
Very nice. All right, Sherry, have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
8:33 now. iFIBER ONE News Radio, and the latest in local news is coming up. It's brought to you this time by Fred Holmes Tree Service.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A search consultant hired by the city of Shelton to find city administrator Dave O'Leary's successor has narrowed the list of finalists for the job from around 20 to 6. A reception at the Shelton Civic Center is planned for the finalists on June 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. The finalists will face interview panels, and you'll be able to ask questions. The finalist names will be released once the candidates clear it with the city. Meanwhile, an interim city administrator is being negotiated and should be hired within a week of O'Leary's retirement, May 31st. Mason County Commissioner Randy Netherland has announced his run for a second term representing District 1. This week, Commissioner Netherland is rolling out his growing list of endorsements from individuals and elected officials throughout the county and the greater Puget Sound region. You can see that list with this story on our website. Visit the politics page at iFiber1newsradio.com. Earlier this month, Kelly McIntosh of Belfair announced her campaign for Mason County Commissioner District 1. It's National Hospital Week. Mason General Hospital is partnering with the Shelton School District to create a health science academy for students. Superintendent Dr. Alex Apostle told Daybreak about plans moving forward.
We're going to be sending between 8 and 10 people to Tennessee to take a look at models of academies. Tennessee is kind of leading the way in terms of academies at the high school level. But we're sending a K-12 contingency, teachers from across the grade levels to really take a look at academies and what we can implement here in Shelton K-12 and beyond. And when I say beyond, that would mean working with Olympic College and universities in the area.
The CEO of Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics, Eric Mall, told Daybreak how this will impact students.
It's almost like we have to hold back because there's a lot of groundwork in terms of training within some of the leadership within the school district and key teachers. They're, going to lead, some of the early curriculum development. But as that matures, that will create opportunities for us to really engage with the school district around job shadowings and really integrating the students into, the work environment so they can start to see how some of what they're learning in the school then translates and applies to work and start to see different career pathways that they might not otherwise have been exposed to.
The Academy will create a pathway for students interested in working in the health field to get training and possible employment right here in Mason County. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Here's a way for you to green up that heating bill of yours. That is, save energy and save greenbacks. Go to archmechanical.com, learn about heat pumps and zone heating. We're talking about heating and cooling equipment and systems designed to heat or cool your home. Listen, if you don't use all the rooms in your home, why heat or cool them? Check out archmechanical.com and learn more. And green up, archmechanical.com.
Rare baseball record tied to the nation's capital, and the Warriors and Blues advance. Hi, everybody. Todd Ent reporting on sports. What a night for Nationals pitcher Max Scherzer.
Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a slider. He has tied the Major League record for strikeouts in a game with 20 strikeouts.
On WJFK, Max Scherzer joins Roger Clemens, Kerry Wood, and Randy Johnson as the only pitchers to strike out 20 in a 9-inning game. Nationals beat the Tigers 3-2. The Splash Brothers are back and close out the series by the Bay.
Clay fires for three. It's good. Clay Thompson. Curry, left hand, crossover right hand, back to the left, behind the back, fades a three. Got it! Oh, my goodness!
On KNBR, Clay Thompson 33, Steph Curry 29. And the Warriors get the 125-121 victory over Portland. The Warriors are now on to the conference finals. And the Raptors beat Miami 99-91 in Toronto. They take a 3-2 series lead. Miami will host Game 6 on Friday. NHL playoffs, it wasn't even close in Big D.
With Brouwer in front, pass to Brouwer to Stas. He scores! Yuri Lettier to Patrick Berglund. He shoots, he scores! 3-0 Blues.
On KMOX, and St. Louis is into the Western Conference Finals after a 6-1 trouncing of the Stars in Dallas in Game 7. The Sharks and Predators play Game 7 tonight. Busy night in baseball. 4 strikes twice in Los Angeles.
The pitch is driven in the air to deep center. At the wall, it is gone! Noah Syndergaard becomes the second Mets pitcher to hit 2 home runs in a game.
On WOR, Syndergaard says each are hard on Bartolo Colon with a solo and a 3-run shot, and the Mets hold off the Dodgers 4-3. The Padres swept a double dip from the Cubs, taking the first 7-4, while Christian Bethancourt's dinger was enough in the second game.
Deep in the car, rushed. That's going to be out on the street.
On the Padres radio network, and a 1-0 win for San Diego over Chicago. Todd Ent, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
Shelton Fast Pitch opens up Narrows League tournament play this afternoon at RAC Fields in Lacey. High climbers will face the winner of Foss versus North Thurston at 3 p.m. Day 1 of the Narrows League track and field meet gets underway this afternoon at Shelton High School. Day 2 finishes up on Saturday. Chris Iannetta hit a walk-off home run in extra innings as the Seattle Mariners knocked off the Tampa Bay Rays 6-5.
The 3-2 pitch, swinging a fly ball deep to center field. Going! Goodbye baseball! A walk-off home run for Chris Iannetta here in the bottom of the 11th inning. His 3rd home run of the season, and the Mariners come away with a 6-5 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they sweep aside Tampa Bay. Iannetta greeted by his teammates at home plate. Holy smokes, what a way to wrap it up this afternoon.
The win puts the M's at 21-13 on the season, a game and a half up over Texas for first place in the AL West. Seattle is off today, then are back in action tomorrow night hosting the Anaheim Angels. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning to you. Daybreak, iFIBER ONE News Radio. It's 8:41. We've had a chance to look outside yet this morning. I think we can agree it's pretty nice out there. 75 the high today, 83 tomorrow. Saturday about 67, and the same for Sunday. Slight chances of rain. Now looks like they are going to be mostly in the evening to overnight. Right now it is 54.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
And it's 8:41 here. Focus on Shelton in just a couple of moments from our community credit union. They're the joint sponsor for that. And Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody is going to come in. We're going to talk about Peace Officer Memorial Week. It was back in '62 that President Kennedy signed a proclamation designating May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Week, and he'll have some statistics on that here in just a couple of moments at 8:41. We have the new website at iFIBER1newsradio.com, and on it, our news director, Jeff Chu, caught up with the man who jumped into Lake Cushman and rescued the drowning swimmer. He tells his story. Randy Bruff is his name. You watch the video on iFIBER1newsradio.com. Also talking about a fire that happened late Tuesday night. We heard reports from that from Central Mason Fire and EMS Deputy Chief Mike Patty. He called into the Daybreak listener line yesterday at 462-1041. That's also the number you need if you are interested to go to Bluegrass from the Forest. Have a pair of tickets for the Friday night show. That's tomorrow night, 6:30 to 10. This is a $30 value, these two tickets together. This will get you into the Friday evening performance of the 12th annual Bluegrass from the Forest at Shelton High School and the Performing Arts Center. We had Dwayne and Greg in last half hour talking about this. Michael Cleveland and Flame Keeper from Indiana, Rob Ikes, Trey Hensley from Nashville, North Country from Seattle, Blackberry Bushes as well. Kind of a millennial bluegrass band. Meaning they take some new styles and new liberties, I feel, with the music. And local favorites, Runaway Train, will be performing. It's again at the Shelton High School Performing Arts Center and campus this weekend. And if you want to go to Friday night's show, we have got 2 tickets for you. 8:44 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. When we come back, we'll have Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody on the radio for our Focus on Shelton, brought to you by our community credit union.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
It's a new look to the Seattle Mariners. From the GM down, things have changed. One thing that hasn't changed is that we at iFIBER ONE News Radio are still your only South Sound home for the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are brought to you in part by Desco AV. Arch Mechanical Services, the all-new Gillis Auto Center, and the Roof Doctor. We're serving a slice of savings at our community credit union with 1% cash back and no payments for 90 days. Do you have an auto, boat, RV, personal, or any other type of consumer loan? Sink your teeth into this. For a limited time, we'll treat you to 1% cash back instantly when you move your loan to our community credit union. Apply online at ourcu.com or visit a branch location in Shelton, Union, McClary, Elma, Montesano, or Vashon. Our community credit union.
Aren't you tired of traffic? Sitting in your car for what feels like forever? Wouldn't you rather work where you live? Mason County offers a variety of job openings that you can take advantage of right now. Apply for Support Services Director, Court Clerk, Weed Control Assistant, or a seasonal flagging position. These are all jobs available to you in your hometown right now. So jump on over to Mason County's website and print off an application or two, and then let them know that iFIBER ONE News Radio referred you.
This is Kathy. The best way to keep current on local news and issues is by subscribing to the Mason County Journal. The importance of subscribing to the paper hit home when the marijuana businesses started cropping up in local neighborhoods and people called the paper saying they hadn't heard about the zoning changes. I had to inform the callers that this issue had been discussed in the paper for many months, and the best way to know what was happening in their community was to read the local newspaper. As a result, many of them started up a subscription. Call 426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com to start your subscription today.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning. It's 8:46. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey, and you are listening to Daybreak. And right now we have Focus on Shelton, which is sponsored by our Community Credit Union. And in studio, we have Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. And you are here sort of a special week. It's Peace Officers Memorial Week. And does that start this week or does it start next week?
It starts this week. It's the week of the 15th.
Okay, so that is on a Sunday. So it's
Sunday through the following
through the following week. Okay, so Peace Officers Memorial Week and Day. And what is that?
It's kind of a memorial for all the peace officers around the nation that have given their lives for their community and died in the line of duty.
Okay. How did that start?
President Kennedy back in 1962 designated this week as Peace Officer Memorial Week. Again, as a kind of a celebratory memorial for the peace officers that have given their lives for the communities they were in.
Mm-hmm. And how many have died in the line of duty here in Washington?
In Washington last year, there were two line of duty deaths. Nationwide, there were 128, and about 39 to 40 of those were by gunfire.
Wow.
And so far this year, we're at about 34, and half of those by gunfire.
Okay, so is this just new cops or?
No, it actually, if you go to the Officer Down Memorial page on the website, you can see all of the historical and data related to it. And the average tenure is about 12 years on. So these are not the new guys out on the street that don't know what they're doing. The average tenure of the officers killed is 12 years.
Wow. Okay, so assaults on officers have increased?
They definitely have increased. In just the year and a half I've been here, I've seen more assaults, more common to just get in the fight with the officer rather than go peacefully. In fact, I think it was 3 weeks ago, we had a Mason County deputy get shot at. And as you know, we crossed the lines quite a bit with County City, and it was right outside the city limits that it occurred.
And was this was sort of a not normal, but a simple traffic?
A lot of these things assaults especially, tend to be just a simple contact. They can be, contact with a suspicious person walking down the street. And often they result as just a simple traffic stop.
Why do you think that people are deciding to go after the officers? I mean, what is it that says this is a good idea?
The kind of, my opinion of it, my opinion is a few things. One, we've got a huge drug issue. And so a lot of these, I looked at all of our use of forces for the last year and a half that we did, and almost 80 to 90% of the use of force that we engaged in, they were either under the influence of narcotics or alcohol, which tends to make people a little bit braver and not as smart.
Right.
And you also have the added addition to that of the parolees don't want to go back to prison. So they'll fight because they know they're going no matter what. And the flip side of that is a lot of the prisons and jails, they're so overcrowded, they're releasing people. So they know they're not going to get major time.
So would you say most of these offenses are done by people that are already sort of in the system?
Repeat offenders.
Repeat offenders.
Yeah, most of them are.
And is there any events that are going to be happening in Washington?
There's always something going on at the state capitol, of course, but locally, Kitsap and Bremerton have a memorial every year. I believe it's the 18th. And so we'll go over there with them.
And is it a public thing?
It is it's open to the public. And police officers from all over will go over there from our region. And I'll call out to the sheriff right now that he and I might get together and we'll try and do something in the future here.
Okay, we're talking to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, and we're talking about Peace Officer Memorial Week. What else is happening with the Shelton Police?
Well, on some better news.
Okay.
We just got our crime stats numbers from 2015 back from the state. Significant drop in major crimes around the city of Shelton in 2015, over 14.
Great.
Folks are working very hard. The community stepped up quite a bit. The officers are working hard. You take burglaries in the city of Shelton in 2015 were almost half of what they were in 2014.
And you've had to drop 2 officers, is that correct?
And that's doing it with 2 less officers than we had when I got here. Fortunately, we're hopefully going to see an increase in that. We're doing some entry-level testing at the end of the month, and hopefully we'll get at least 1 back from that.
And what do you attribute this to? Education or being out and seen by the public?
I think it's a combination of things. The community is really starting to call. I mean, this is over 10,000 calls for service last year in 2015. So we're getting more calls. We're encouraging people to call. We've got a couple neighborhood watches now that we've organized. And again, I'll encourage people, if you want to start a neighborhood watch in your area, please give us a call. We'd love to have another neighborhood watch group. So I think people are feeling more comfortable calling. And the officers are out and about more. Their activity levels increased quite a bit.
How is that neighborhood watch going? And when people see something, for example, I get up very early, and I know you do too, get up and walk the dogs out and about, and it's dark and you're walking around. Are you finding that more and more people are saying, I got to call? I don't care what it looks like. If I call saying there's somebody suspicious in my neighborhood, I need to call.
Exactly. And that's what we're encouraging. And through the Neighborhood Watch, we educate people of that. And it's funny because the last Neighborhood Watch meeting I went to, new group, and about 30 people showed up in this house. It was great to see them. And they started reflecting as I was talking about, I should have called the other day when I saw this happening, or I should have called when I saw that happening. And it seems like no big deal. I think in the press release we just did recently, we had a rash of vehicle burglaries. This guy's walking down the street, just randomly checking doors on cars, and a couple of them he actually smashed the windows of. People had to have seen him and had to have heard him. And yes, we got 1 or 2 calls, but that was after the fact. It's things like that. Like you said, people work all hours. Our best people out there are the folks who work a graveyard shift and get up in the middle of the night and are walking around or getting ready to go to work.
Yeah.
So,
is this the story that we have on iFIBER1Newsradio.com about the 18-year-old they're looking around for the prowls that occurred on May 3 and May 4?
Yeah, he was responsible for quite a few, and thankfully our detectives, through all the contacts, were able to recover a video from one of the residents that had put up a video system. It wasn't a perfect video, but it gave us an idea. Started tracking through some other sources and found local businesses that had a video of the same guy. And so they were able to ID him. And now we're just trying to find him.
That's the hard part, I suppose.
Yes. So hopefully putting his picture out there and his name, somebody's going to call sooner or later.
Right.
Somebody's got to know something.
Right.
Somebody's got to know something. And, he's probably keeping a pretty low profile right now. And putting it out there again, the officers are aware of it. Sooner or later, we'll find him.
Is he familiar to SPD?
He is. They know him. And so, like I said, sooner or later, somebody's going to call us or we're going to run across him.
8:54 here now at iFIBER One News Radio. Additionally, this weekend, Choice High School's having a block party.
Yes, they are.
You're going to be a star.
I'm going to be in the dunk tank. Yes, I am. I will be at Choice High School and in the dunk tank at some point.
How'd you get signed up for that?
Well, part of it was Graduation Matters Shelton. And of course, Diva, the young lady who's running the after-school program, I've gone by and talked to her a few times, and we're trying to keep the after-school program moving. And so she says, will you do me a favor? And I said, you know what? For the kids, I'll get dunked.
I like it.
For the adults, I won't. Adults aren't allowed to purchase tickets for this.
That is going to be a lot of fun. And I think News Director Jeff Chu is going to be out there at the block party making sure that we get you on film, falling into the
dunk tank.
That'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be a busy weekend. We have the Olympus Rally, I believe, in the morning, and then Bluegrass Festival, and then that. So it'll be a busy weekend around here.
Well, it's almost summer, so there's lots of events happening.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Police
bet.
Chief Darren Moody, speaking about the Peace Officers Memorial Week and things that are happening with the City of Shelton Police Force. Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
Good to see you. 8:55, iFIBER One News Radio. Time now for the Old Farmer's Almanac as we gear up for 9 o'clock.
Seedlings you've started indoors this spring need time to get used to outdoor life. We'll share some tips to help the transition on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, May 12th, the 133rd day of the year. Musician Steve Winwood shares a birthday with composer Burt Bacharach. When it's time to transplant seedlings from indoors into the garden, it's important to gradually harden off the young plants. During their last week indoors, lower the temperature, withhold fertilizer, and water less often. Introduce plants to the outdoors over a week to 10 days, gradually exposing them to more sun and wind. If your transplants don't have individual containers, take care not to disturb the roots of neighboring plants as you remove them. And finally, be sure all threat of frost has passed for your growing zone. That's the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more gardening tips and the frost dates for your region at almanac.com.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. Daybreak, iFIBER One News Radio at 8:56 on this Thursday morning. Tomorrow night, kicking off Bluegrass from the Forest, the 12th annual Shelton High School Performing Arts Center. I got a pair of tickets to Friday evening. If you are interested, this is a $30 value for 2 passes to the Friday evening performance from 6:30 to 10. You can give us a call here, 462-1041. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll go over the guest list in just a couple of minutes. Synchronicity, serendipity, you ever hear, you know about that kind of stuff? Got a phone call here, but when we come back after this phone call, I'll tell you this crazy story that happened to me yesterday. Hi, on the phone line. Let's say good morning. Who are we talking to? Hello, who is this?
This is Eileen.
Hi, Eileen. How you doing?
Fine.
Would you like to go to the Friday evening Shelton High School Bluegrass from the Forest?
Yes, I would.
Oh, Eileen, I've got a pair of tickets for you here, 6:30 to 10, and you're going to hear some of the best bluegrass music in the country right at Shelton High School.
Thank you very much.
Do you know where our studios are located?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, come on down, pick those tickets up.
Does it matter what time?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
8:57 at iFIBER One News Radio. Thank you, Eileen. And this has been a great week to give away passes to Bluegrass from the Forest.
How many more do we have to give away? Just one pair.
Just one.
Wow.
One ticket, singular. So I was on the Facebook yesterday, and I get a friend request from an old buddy of mine, Timmy. And I have not seen Timmy.
Sounds like a story from Lassie.
Well, he was lost for a little while.
Okay.
But Facebook refound him. Anyways, he jumped back on the Facebook and refriended me, or whatever you do. And I had not talked with him probably in a couple years. He used to be, him and I became good friends at during when I did karaoke.
Right.
So Friday, and hey, all right, cool. And then I figure I will only see him on Facebook.
Right.
So sure enough, Kaiser and I at the Home Depot yesterday getting some things, and in front of me at line is Timmy.
Wow.
And so I go, my newest Facebook friend. And so it just the serendipity, the synchronicity of how just the day before.
Right.
And I had not interacted with this guy in years.
Interesting how stuff like that happens.
It is weird. I love it.
So, but you recognized him.
Oh, yeah. No, I recognize. We had a great conversation and talked for about 20 minutes.
I thought you were going to say when I was out walking my dogs in the morning, that was the guy I called in on. It was Timmy.
Turned out it was my friend Timmy. That would have been serendipitous. All right, 9 o'clock. You guys have a great day. Carol, you do the same. Very nice out there. So enjoy the sunshine. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday.